What's up, guys? Let's see, I put this music really low, but let me know if it's too loud and you guys hear me too much. I might have to change my mic too. Do you guys hear me fine? Is everything good? I don't know if anybody's watching. I'm not even looking at the chat. So I'm asking if everybody's fine, could hear me fine, and I have no idea if you're even answering. So, give me a second. Let's get all ready here. Alright. Ah, there we go. Oh my god. Alright. What's up, TJ? What's up, Toasted? Toasted, why do you always ask me these questions? I think we've had this. You've asked me these things over and over again. I'm pretty sure I've answered them before. I don't understand why you keep asking me it. Or why it's even important to you. Who cares who I'm voting for? What does it matter to you who I vote for? Or at least matter to you that much that you keep asking me. So came on today. Yesterday, if you guys probably noticed, but yesterday I made a video on how David Silverman helped me out in my life. Not directly, but through his talks and stuff like that. And people like him, not just him, but people who were outspoken about atheism at the time. And so I told my story of me growing to be an atheist and how it, like telling my family about it and stuff. And, in doing that, as is, yeah, Marino. But in doing that, of course, I get weirdos commenting on my stuff, and, happens all the time. I mean, it's nothing new. I've gotten weird comments and weirdos out of nowhere popping up, but to ask me really questions that have nothing to do with anything or just weird shit. But this is a dude who's been following me for a bit. He's asked me weird stuff before, and I just kind of ignore it a lot of times. Sometimes he leaves nice comments, and I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, But this time he saw the story I did, which the whole point was my growth as an atheist, and yeah, I am gonna die in that. What's up, Billy? Is my growth as an atheist and basically how people like David Silverman moved me forward in that aspect. But he took a whole completely different meaning out of it, looked into the things I said, and created this entire elaborate story about me and my life that's completely off and means nothing. It's just so weird. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Let me stop the music so that you guys can hear me better when I do that. But in the end, I'm not gonna say what his name is. I mean, if you guys really care, you can go check it out in the comment section of that video. It doesn't really matter. I don't think it's important who he is or what his name is. That doesn't matter. Which is kind of why this is so funny, because he's going into things that don't matter to the story, and I think it's because of his own thing. That's the part of the story that caught him, was me and my mom's conversation, as opposed to the overall story that I told about me and atheism. He thought the entire story was about some sort of issues that me and my mom have and still have for some reason, out of a conversation that I talked about between me and my mom that really in real life lasted 10 minutes. And me and my mom have a fantastic relationship. She's like my best friend, and I tell her everything, and she tells me everything, and we've had a fantastic relationship my entire life. But somehow he thinks I have issues with my mom because of this little snippet of conversation that I shared with you guys. That wasn't even the point of the story. I didn't go into details because that wasn't the point of the story. The point of the story is the trouble some people have in sharing who they are with people they love because they think they might make them sad, or whatever the reason may be. For me, it was the reason that I didn't want to make my mom sad, but also I didn't want to have her have a pretend notion of who I was. I wanted her to know who her son really is, not just some, not her own little fantasy idea of who I am because I'm pretending to be something I'm not, Why would I do that? That makes no sense. But I think maybe the person doesn't understand that because they don't have a good relationship with their parents or with anyone. Because anybody you have a good relationship with, you don't want them to have a... Oh, sorry. You don't want them to have a fake image of you. You want them to know who you are, you know, and you know, and whether they're going to be happy with that or not, you know, at least they know, you know. All right, so let's do, I'm in the comments. Let's do newest first. I gotta pop out the chat because I don't know what you guys say. Okay, dox the douche. Nah, I don't really care about that. It doesn't even matter. I tend to ask stuff a lot because I have ADD. Yeah. Anal deficiency, dick. Nah, I don't know. Just making things up. It's fine. I don't mind that you ask a lot of. It's not like it super bothers me or anything. It's just a little strange. So, and it's like, you've asked me multiple times. I'm like, why you keep asking me that? I'm pretty sure I've answered it too, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see. Let's go to newest first, and then start from the bottom so I could start from the first comment he left. Okay. So, also he puts timestamps and gives different questions throughout the timestamps that goes later and later. So this is making me think already. This is making me think he's fucking up already because he's probably watching to that point, hearing something, stopping the video, leaving a comment, continuing the video, right? So it's like, you didn't even finish the video to hear if I answer the things you're saying or answer your questions later on in the video. Watch the whole thing first, right? But I could be wrong. You could have gone back and put these two. But not only is he wrong, but the way he comes to his conclusions is incorrect and wrong too, because he doesn't even, like, he misses things that I said and doesn't even realize that I said certain things. But anyways, so he says, at 7:40 on my video, he says, finally we get there. So your parents are divorced. That's correct. You're fearful of your mother. What? Where did he get the fear of my mother? I love my mom. I've never feared my mom for anything. And you're an atheist. That part's correct. But I don't know where he gets the you're fearful of your mother. I love my mother. What are you talking about? Why would I be afraid of my mother? My mom's been nothing but fucking fantastic to me my whole life and done anything she could to make my life better, you know? Which suggests you dislike your heavenly father. You can't dislike something that doesn't exist, right? You dislike it. This guy has to be Christian, right? Or he's trying to argue devil's advocate, but I think he's got to be Christian because who says heavenly father? Oh, well, yeah. Well, who says heavenly father? That doesn't even make sense. Which suggests you dislike your heavenly father as you feel let down by your earthly father, who clearly couldn't handle your mother. What? Where did he get that? Where does he get that? My dad couldn't handle my mother. They mutually split up because they just stopped getting along. Like, life was stressful, man. We grew up super poor. Shit was stressful. They had opposite hours jobs so that, you know, they could watch us. So then they barely spent time together. And then when they did, they would argue because shit was stressful. Wasn't about anybody not being able to handle the other person. That's just a made up shit. You see, I don't know how many of you guys watched my video, but how many of you guys think got that from my video? Like, where did you get any of that? Where did they get that I was fearful of my mother? Like, what? Nowhere in my video did I say I was fearful of my mother or even insinuated to that. Dislike your heavenly father. How do you dislike something that doesn't exist? It's so weird. I've never disliked God. There's just no way to dislike God. How do you dislike God? God doesn't exist, you know? How do you dislike something that doesn't exist? So if you're afraid to tell her you're I wasn't afraid to tell her I was an atheist. There's nowhere, I don't think anywhere in the video, maybe I said it, but maybe he might be taking it the wrong way. I think he's taking you're afraid to tell her as I'm scared. I'm not scared. I explained in the video that I didn't want to tell my mom. I'm pretty sure I didn't use the word afraid. I just said I didn't want to tell my mom. And I explained for a good chunk of it that nobody wants to make their parents sad. I have a great relationship with my mom. Me and my mom are like best friends. And the reason I didn't want to tell her was because I knew it would make her sad. And yeah, that's explained in the video. I don't understand where he got this. So he says, so if you're afraid to tell her you're an atheist, Lord already knows what else you're scared to discuss with her. With things, other things that would make her sad, I guess. Because that's what happened. That's so weird. He's just making things up. I explained in the video that, even to everybody, I explained in the video that I understand why people don't want to come out to their parents that they're an atheist, because it'll make them sad. Just like if you're part of a family who's like super Christian and doesn't want to, and doesn't, and is against homosexuality, a gay person doesn't want to tell their parents, not just because of fear of repercussion, but also because they don't want to let their parents down. They know if they tell their parents are going to be sad and let down by this. And if you love your parents, it's hard to let them down. But you have to eventually. Just like if you have a child and their cat dies, you can hide it from them, but you're kind of an asshole for doing it. I know you want to hide it from them because you don't want them to cry and feel down about their cat dying, but you're kind of an asshole doing it. You kind of have to take the bandage off real quick and just deal with it, just be like, all right, listen, this is what happened, and it's better for them to know the truth, So yeah, that's why I decided to tell my mom, because I felt bad that she had this fake image of me, because she's like my best friend, and I was like, it's better that my mom knows who her son is, I don't think there's anything weird about that, but he extrapolated all this stuff out of my story that really doesn't go into detail and really has nothing to do with it. It's not the point of the video. He's finding his own point of the video. So he watched this whole video, which is me telling my journey through becoming an atheist and how people helped me through it. And he focused in on this like on the 2 minutes of like the 15-minute video of me having a conversation with my mom and letting her know that I was an atheist for the first time, and he zeroed in on this, and trust me, it keeps going. Watch, he extrapolates so much out of this. Okay. Yeah, that was the first comment he left, and I answered him back. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you just making shit up on the fly? This is so weird. So, yeah, like right after that, he didn't leave me comments one at a time. I like signed on and I saw that I had like 6 comments from this dude, like all in one shot. So now, he timestamped 7:40. He leaves another comment. He timestamps 8:10. And he's repeating my conversation, but his own way, right? So he says, "Mom, God will make a way. You vitriolic anti-God rant." What? What part of me, what I was saying about my conversation with my mom was vitriolic? What part of that was what? You, why so upset, Mom? Yeah, no, I didn't ask her why she was upset. I understood why she was upset. In fact, I explained the whole reason I didn't want to tell her was because I didn't want her to be sad. So I knew that when I told her I would be sad. So why would I ask her why she's upset when I know that she's going to be sad finding out that her son is an atheist? Like, what? Already weird. And nothing about what I said was vitriolic. I was just explaining to my mom in calm terms how I feel about God and religion and stuff and what my ideas are on that. All right, so then he says, "Odd, you, like many, don't remember the convo." Yeah, because the conversation wasn't important. It was a small thing that happened at the time, and it's not important to the story, so there's no reason to even go into it, and there's no reason to even remember it. Oh, shit. And there's no reason to even remember it because it's something that had to do with that time. Like saying it's useless. I'm 40 years old. This conversation happened like 18 years ago, But remember all the details of it, how it affected them? No, I don't remember the detail of how that conversation, I don't remember, affected us at all. I don't remember the effect of that. The only effect of that I do remember is that it led into me revealing to my mother that I was an atheist. That's the only thing I remember of that. And it had nothing to do with the conversation. It just had to do with the end of that conversation. My mom brought up something like, "Oh, don't worry about it. God will help, God will lead us and we'll fix it and we'll be fine, And then that led to me saying, "You know what? I think it's time to tell my mother who I am, and stop pretending to be something else." It's like a gay person coming out of the closet, right? At some point, you gotta tell your parents. You can't keep hiding it from them. Why are Christians watching our channel? I don't know. It's so weird. And then want to argue with you about it. I don't even have an atheist channel. I made one video about it, but I barely talk about atheism, right? Like, I don't really have a reason to talk about atheism. I'm 40 years old and I've been an atheist since sophomore in high school. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've been an atheist for like 25 years, and some random person wants to come up to me and fucking argue with me about atheism like I give a shit. Like I haven't thought this through for decades. Like, get out of here, dude. And then they want to put their own thing, which I don't know if it's projection. I don't know if this guy is just a weirdo. I don't know if he's smoking crack and fucking tripping out in his fucking room, writing shit. Who knows? It's just very strange. So yeah, yeah, odd. You, like many, don't remember the convo. Yeah, it's so weird. So what were you two discussing, and why were you already so emotional that you erupted? Okay, so what we were discussing doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the story, and it's none of your fucking business, to be honest. And then, why were you already so emotional that you erupted? I never erupted. What part of that conversation was there an eruption? Where? What? Where was there an eruption? I calmly explained to my mom. I at that moment was a decision where I was like, you know what? My mom keeps telling me these things about, God will do this, God will do that, and I feel bad because I'm pretending that I agree with those things. And I shouldn't. I love my mother. She's my best friend. We went through so much together. I don't want her to have a false image of me. I want her to know who her son is. So I decided right there, yeah, I'm going to tell my mom that I don't believe in these things. There was no eruption. There was no emotion. There wasn't like, like those things didn't happen. This is the way you're hearing it, because maybe this is your relationship with your parents that you're putting on me. My relationship with my parents is great. My parents never let us feel like we weren't loved. My parents did a great job with us, and I still have a great relationship with my mom, with my dad, and my brother. We all have great relationships. Cause even hearing you describe it years later sounds like it was condescending, rude, angry rant. No, none of those things. And the issue between you isn't religion. God, yeah. Yeah, the issue between me isn't religion. God's, yeah, you're 100% right. The religion has zero issues in my family. We all believe kind of different things in different ways, and we're all cool with that. And we all still love each other and don't really fucking, criticize or bash each other for it. It doesn't matter. Like, all that matters is our dynamic as a family and friends. So it's weird. But yeah, he's saying even hearing you describe it, I'll ask you guys. I don't know how many of you guys watched it, but did any of you guys reach that part of my video and think that I was being rude and condescending to my mom? How on earth is your mom your best friend? Yeah, my mom is my best friend. I tell her everything. She's been my best friend since we were together. Beta. What a faggot. My parents are great. How generic. Yeah, thanks, Billy. Yeah, he is pushing it. He's angry because he tried to analyze me, got it all wrong, and I responded like, dude, you're psychotic. Like, where are you getting these things? I'm asking, look, I'm going to ask people in the chat right now. Be honest, too. I mean, I don't mind if you agree with them, but when you watched my video, any of you who did watch my video, and you got to the part where I was having a conversation with my mom, did any of you find that to be like something rude or condescending? Like, did you hear that and say, holy shit, Alphys was so rude and condescending to his mom? Because I really didn't, right? Like, I don't think I did. At least if I explained it that way, I explained it wrong, because that's not what happened. Like, me and my mom had a calm conversation. I explained to her calmly my beliefs in God, in God and religion, Don't hide them. Let them talk. We can hide them afterwards. I unhid you. Well, see, I didn't want to say names, but he came in here and blew up his own spot, so you guys can all make fun of him. But he's unhidden, so you guys can totally make fun of him. Currently renting online beta. You're the guy who came into my comment section and started ranting and pretending you knew me. That makes you a bitch. That makes you a fucking psychopath. How is me talking on my channel and laughing at you? How is that beta? Laughing at people isn't beta. You're the one being laughed at here. Not me. And you're the one who blew up your own spot. I wasn't going around saying what your name was or anything. But I'm going through this, but you should be listening because you were really curious about this. You were asking me all these questions. You were trying to figure out who I was and what my life is. So why not listen to this and hear me explain to you how you're wrong about all these things, as opposed to coming in my chat and calling me a beta and be, why would you do? Instead of doing that shit, which is the stuff is funny. This is the way you're saying I was acting to my mom is the way you're acting. So all I have is name calling. I wasn't. Were you watching this stream? I wasn't name calling you. In fact, I didn't even mention your name. And I'm going through everything you said and telling it why it's wrong. Why don't you just sit there and listen? As opposed to, this is the problem, is you left all these comments You barely listened to my video. You listened to my video and then made up all this stuff. And now you're in my chat just being and freaking out and being triggered when you could just sit there and listen and find out. I'm explaining to you where you were wrong. It's better than typing. I typed back to you for a while. This way is better. And if you want to come on the stream, I can find, maybe there's a Discord we can come on and I can explain to you these things because... And I can ask you some questions because I seriously think you have some serious issues, dude. And I'd love to find out and get down to the deeper issues here and why you have so many issues. Because you bring up stuff out of nowhere. And usually when people bring things up out of nowhere, it's because there's an underlying issue they have with those topics, you know? But I could be wrong. I don't know you. I don't care. I spoke publicly. All you have is my name call. All you have is my name call. All you have is name calling. No, I wasn't calling any names. But I will call you names. I'm not afraid to. All right, let's continue. I'm gonna ignore what he's saying because we should get further on into this. So the last thing he said on that one was, and the issue between you isn't religion, God. Yeah, me and my mom never had an issue with that. Or if we did, it was like a 10-minute issue, and we got over it really quick. Even that, like, it's funny he extrapolated so much out of the conversation I was talking about with my mom. That conversation in real life lasted like 8-10 minutes. And afterwards we like hugged and ate dinner and had a good time, you know, like, and just moved on with our lives. It was like tearing off a Band-Aid, right? I was not lying, but I was saying I was pretending to be something I wasn't. And now I let her know. And, you know, now she could get over it and be like, oh, you know what? You know, he turned out good. You know, I'm caught up in these old things that, you know, doesn't matter, you know, and everything's working out fine. Right? Everything was going fine. So after he said that, I responded, it wasn't like that at all. Ha ha ha. How did you even get that from what I said? So he answers back, asked and answered, I got it from what you said. Weird, right? Yeah, that is very weird. It's super weird. It's super weird that you got a bunch of stuff that wasn't there. Like, what? It wasn't even between the lines. Like, he's making it seem like me and my mom have a horrible relationship and I have all these, like, traumas and stuff. And I don't. Me and my mom had a great relationship. And, yeah, I've always felt loved in my life. I've never had issues with that. So then he timestamps 8:10. Serious conversation about something. Mom brought up God will help us in future. You let out years of pent-up emotion, in parentheses, triggered, about how great humans are. That's considerably longer and more visceral than the retelling in this video, you'll likely admit. I think he meant you won't likely admit. And then in parentheses, he writes, including but not limited to berating her own lukewarm, hypocritical Christianity. What? None of that at all. First off, there was no years of pent-up emotion at all. Like I said, I always felt loved by my mother. I never had any pent-up emotions in my family like that. We had a pretty good family life. The only things that were tough in my life was that we grew up poor. But both of my parents were super loving. They worked really hard and tried their best to give me and my brother everything we needed, and even everything we wanted, you know. They tried, at least, you know, what they could. But yeah, there was no years of pent-up emotions. I wasn't triggered. I told her very calmly about, you know, my thoughts on God and stuff like that. I was an adult at that person. I was like 23. I had matured. And it was since sophomore year in high school that I discovered I was an atheist. So I was basically pretending to my mom for like 6-7 years, you know, until I was like, you know what, I should stop doing this. I'm 23 years old, you know, I'm mature. I should tell my mom, who, you know, I love very much, who I am, you know, in a calm way. There wasn't any pent up emotion. There was no explosion or anything like that. Also, he said about how great humans are. When did I say humans were great? I said, no, we pull our own strings, which is true. We've created buildings, we created cars, we created the internet. But we're not great. We also created fucking genocide and atomic bombs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where did you get that I said humans are great? I never said that at all in that conversation. That's considerably longer and more visceral now. It wasn't visceral at all. Oh, man, so weird. And also, not limited to berating my own mother for my mother's lukewarm hypocrite. No way. I would never berate my mother. Are you fucking crazy? Why would I berate my mother? Oh, my God. So, funny enough, I state the reason why I didn't want to tell my mother was because I didn't want her to be sad, but then I would berate her? Why would I berate my mother if I don't want her to be sad? Oh my god, massive contradictions, man. This is where I find it so funny. Like, where does he come up with this stuff? After that, I told him, like, dude, you just added all that stuff into it. Like, were you smoking crack? Like, that's some weird shit to come up with. Oh, and he said here, this part too. If this is how it sounds to me, years later, and void of heat of the moment, there was no heat of the moment. It wasn't a heat of the moment. It was a very calm conversation that I was like, you know what? I should tell my mom this. It wasn't like we were angry and fighting. I think what he's misunderstanding, maybe, I just thought this now, was that our initial conversation about the tough times we were going through was a heated argument, but it wasn't. We were having a calm conversation of, figuring things out and getting through the hard times we had been through before that. And actually we were at a pretty good, well, she was at a pretty good point. I had just lost a job, then moved back in with my mom for a little bit. But, after that I got a job and, moved back out. But it wasn't a tough time. There was no anger. There was no problem. We weren't having a heated argument. There was no heat in this at all. It was a very calm argument, actually. And a very happy one. Afterwards, we hugged and we felt a lot better, that we were talking about things that, maybe we were pretending, and things that we had gone through that we hadn't really actually sat down and gone through, and discussed and talked about how we felt about those things. Like I said, my mom's like my best friend. What do you do with your friends? Or if there's things going on, you sit down and you discuss stuff and you find out how you feel about things, Yeah, heat of the moment, it was definitely far more polite in real life. Yeah, it was definitely 100 times polite in real life. It was really a really, really good conversation. And I feel like me and my mom's relationship grew at that point, and got better. Because now things there was no pretending, and, all these things were out in the open and we could be comfortable and discuss them. Wait, is this the irrelevant stuff that's none of my business? No, it's not. No, this is the stuff that's in the video that you made stuff up about, and I'm explaining what I was talking about in the video. Say, you're wrong again. I don't get it. Like, is it like English comprehension? Why is your mom your best friend? Because we went through a lot together and we helped each other out big time. My mom did everything for me. I did what I could to help her out, even as a child. I've been working since I was a child. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did, and we were homeless. That's why my mom's my best friend, because we were homeless and we suffered together and built our way out of that and built our lives back up from nothing. You're not comfortable? Yeah, I'm very comfortable. Why wouldn't I be comfortable? What? Weird. All right, let's go back to what he's saying. But yeah, you see, it's not just in the comments. This guy's weird, right? Even in the chat, I'm betting everybody in the chat thinks you're a weirdo, dude, and that you're coming up with shit out of nowhere. Like, everybody's... And funny enough, a lot of the people in the chat are people who know me very well, that I've, talked to daily for two years, So they know that you're just a weirdo. Yeah, she did do a great job. She 100% did a great job. Any other parent... a lot of other parents probably would have given up and left me somewhere or given me to somebody, because we went through a lot of tough times, man, when we were homeless, sleeping in park benches and shit. Alright, so I'm gonna go... Alright, so that was that comment thread. Let's go on to the next one, which was like an hour apart from the other ones. Now, he's doing our conversation again, which he gets very wrong as well. Mom, I raised you wrong. And then he says that has to do with humility and accountability for her actions. Yeah, but she was wrong, so it doesn't matter if it's humility or accountability for her actions. She was wrong. She wasn't supposed to be feeling humility and accountability at that moment. And then he says that I said, no, you're perfect, which I never said. I've never said my mom is perfect. She's made mistakes in her life just like every other human being has, and so have I. So, yeah, and there's been moments where we made mistakes with each other, but, we talk about it, we grow, and we move on. Arrogant denial of her agency and growth. No, she hadn't grown. In fact, me telling her that she had done right is what made her grow. She did do a good job raising me. Like, what? And then he goes into this weird rant right here. Let's go into this weird rant. Because if parents are good, so are their children. The kids won't need to go away and unlearn, as they won't have been taught bad things, as they they'd have an ever-present example of good. Well, there's no such thing. Nobody's going to ever be a 100% good parent. People are humans. They make mistakes. And teaching people things aren't just things that are good and bad. There's right and wrong, but there's also just incorrect things. It doesn't mean that it's bad. Something taught to you can be incorrect and not be bad or good. It's just in the middle, or, like Santa Claus. I mean, people teach their kids Santa Claus. It's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either. I mean, it's bad to lie to your kids, but I mean, if they're really that little, it's not going to do much damage. But in the end, it's not a bad thing. It's not teaching them something terrible, So that doesn't make any sense. It's too black and white. There's other things in the middle there. And they said, you questioned religion because your parents weren't good Christians. No, that's not what it was at all. You didn't listen to the story. I specifically state in the video when I started questioning religion. I said I questioned it when I was a kid, and then I said I read the Bible 3 times, and that was the best thing for me to question religion, because after reading the Bible 3 times, I started being like, this shit is silly. That was on my own. That was the things I discovered on my own. After believing the things my parents told me, and then being like, hey, my parents got this from this book. Let me read this book and find out for myself. When you should have questioned them, I didn't need to question them. Questioning them would have just led to me finding out more of the things they were brainwashed with, as opposed to finding out for myself. If you're the kind of person who, instead of finding out for themselves what somebody's telling you, and instead you just keep questioning that person, you will never find the truth. You'll never find out things for yourself, and you'll just be a blind sheep following people all your life. Okay, so bad parents, for example, alcoholics, raise bad kids. Not true. I know some people whose parents were alcoholics and they turned out bad, but I know some people whose parents were alcoholics and they turned out great. And in the end, my dad was an alcoholic. Not a bad one. Like, he wasn't abusive, but he drank like a little bit every day at least. But, yeah. And then he says raise bad kids, the same or they're polar opposites. Alcoholics or teetotalers, which is not true. Both me and my brother drink. We're not heavy alcohol. We don't heavily drink, and we don't shy from drinking. So, and we had an alcoholic dad, so that's not true at all. Both are bad because extreme. No, neither of us are extreme about drinking. One should never drink to excess, nor fear the very smell of alcohol. None of that happens. And it doesn't even happen with religion. I guess my brother's kind of extreme with religion. He is a born-again Christian. But I'm not extreme in my atheism. I'm not anti-theist. I'm not, I don't tell people I don't tell people not to be religious. I don't really care. Like, it doesn't matter to me if people are religious or not. As long as they're not affecting me with it or my life, I don't care. People live and let live. Let people do what the fuck they want. I don't give a shit. But instead, we have blatant alcoholics. Example, day drinking moms that say all of this means nothing. This is just him rambling about shit that have nothing to do with anything. It's so weird. While driving their kids to school, yet she tries to be all don't do drugs with your kids. Clear double standard, kids. Grow to employ. He needs to learn some punctuation. At least if he's in a ramble for this long. A bottle of Coke each, pour some out and top up with rum. I don't even know why I'm reading this. It's totally not on topic. It means nothing to this conversation. You really need to apologize. So what do I need to apologize to my mom for? Because you stole her forgiveness by denying her confession. Accept her apology or don't. She never apologized. So how do I accept an apology that's not there? I don't understand that. And then what do I need to apologize because I stole her forgiveness? So, all right, this is where he contradicts himself and fucks himself over on this conversation. Because if you listen to the whole thing, this is why I kept telling him in the thing, I feel like you were just skipping through and you didn't get all the context because there's entire chunks missing out of what he's saying. So if you listen to the conversation later between me and my brother, my mother came to me after that conversation and she said she was proud of me because of the way I, handled myself. I'm smart and and that was her telling me she did do a good job raising me. So now if I apologize for her for taking away her denying her confession, then I now deny her acceptance of that she raised me better. And now I'm fucked there. And now I have to apologize for her in the future for that time. But then if I do that, the thing she said in the past now is fucked, and I gotta apologize for that, which then opens up the forward. You know what I'm saying? And it's just an endless cycle of apologies because this guy has zero context or conception of time in this, linear time in this. Like, later on, like 5 years later, from that discussion with my brother, my mom realized that I was correct in telling her that she did a good job raising me, and said, wow, you know what, I did do a good job raising you. You handled yourself well, you argue this well, and you're smart, and you came through these conclusions, and you did a good job, you know. So you totally missed that part. I guess that part didn't matter to you, or were you skipping around? I mean, you could be honest. If you were skipping around, you were out of context. Just be honest about it. Stop hiding him. Why do you keep hiding him? Just make fun of him. Why hide him? Make fun of him. Alright, you're back. If you want to keep talking, Darren, I unhid you. Like, why would you... Yes, being on YouTube does bring out the weirdest. Yes, they do, Christy, so much. And you thought you yelling Cambodian breast milk was weird? Yeah, it is weird, but nowhere near as weird as this guy. But yeah, you see... So it's like I said, it seems more like these are his issues and he's projecting them on me. I could be wrong. I have no idea who this guy is. I don't know anything about him. Except that he just leaves comments on my videos every once in a while and has portrayed a bit of weirdness before. Like, usually I've ignored it. I've seen him post things and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm just going to ignore that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just not answer because it's so weird. But, I mean, who comes up with these large, such specific things that have nothing to do, weren't in the context of the story, and in fact eliminates context from the story in order to do these things, in order to get these out there. It's very strange for him to tie these stories together with no, eliminating context to do so. Watching the video refutes everything he says, and that's what he's using as proof. It's very strange. All right, Leia, to continue. Well, yeah, so he was saying for me to accept her apology, which she never apologized for anything, so there was no reason. There's nothing to accept. And do not tell her she has nothing to apologize for. I mean, I'll tell her that because it's the truth, but she hasn't apologized for anything. So, like, what... This is why I didn't want you guys to meet him, because I want to know how he comes up with these things. Darren, what did my mother apologize for? When did my mother apologize? When in the story? If you could timestamp it even, that would be cool. I'll play it on this video. Can you show me where the timestamp is for that? Where I said that my mother was apologizing for something? What apology do I need to accept? I'll wait for you to answer, because I would really like to know that. I know you like hiding people, but yeah, I there's questions I want to ask him because I'm very curious on how people come up with these things. I raised you wrong? That wasn't an apology. How is that? Can you explain how that's an apology? How is telling somebody I raised you wrong an apology? Why do you think she said that? Do you know? Because I know why she said that. I explained it in the video, but from your context of what you're saying, it sounds like you don't know why she said that, or you're making up why she said that. Yeah, he is a say. He's got a cult mentality, probably, but I would like to know, because it's weird how people just make things up like that. Like, how is I raised you wrong an apology? And also, why does he think she said that? So when you speak, it's truth, but when she speaks to you, it's not truth? Weird how that works. What part isn't truth? What part did she say is not true? You can, people can be incorrect. Have you ever realized that people make mistakes, or some people make errors, or think something and are wrong in thinking that? Just like you. You're thinking all these things and you're wrong. Now you're asking questions. Good job. Yeah, I've been asking questions. That's the whole reason why I did this, is because I wanted to ask you how you even got this weird, crazy shit you came up with. My dog's howling. You could probably hear it. Baby! What's the matter? Yeah, well, I know he's full of shit, but I want to get down to the thing of, like, wait, I'm an ex-atheist, I raised you wrong. Okay. Now what? Where does that go? Let's move on from there. That part is true. That is 100% correct. I did say that, and my mom did answer with that. Now let's move on. Where's the apology? Where's the stuff you were saying? You're saying there was an apology there, something to forgive. I don't see it. And something about truth and lies? She believes she raised you wrong, You deny her experience. I cannot be clear. I didn't deny her experience. She's mistaken. People make mistakes. People could be wrong. It's not either truth or lies. There's truth, lies, mistakes, errors. Like what? Misunderstanding? Can you, Alf Benny, be? Yeah, I can be incorrect, of course. But I know in this situation, she's incorrect. You want to know why? Because I know my mom. You don't know my mom. I know my mom, and I know she raised me the way she wanted to raise me. At the moment, she thought she was wrong because of the indoctrination she had experienced in Peru as a child that has her stuck in the mentality that your children have to be the same religion as you and believe the same exact things as you. And in fact, when she realized later, she found out, oh, you're right, I didn't raise you wrong. Stupid. I was wrong is my favorite phrase. It shows growth. Oh, okay. So you were wrong about everything you left in my comment section? Yes? No? That's true, but you're wrong. Yeah, you can be true. Yeah. What? Yeah, that's fine. So you were wrong about the stuff you left in my comment section, right? Is that what you're saying? No, she is not? Yes, she is. What are you talking about? You don't know my mom. Why do you think you know my mom? I bet you never even met a Peruvian woman in your life. Like, what? You're talking about my mom that I've known my entire life and that we're crazy good and conversation. We have open conversations with each other constantly. But you know her more than I do. What a fucking weirdo. Alright, let's keep going with this. If you admit it happened, you'll never get over it. There's nothing to get over. This happened 25 years ago. I was over it after we had that conversation, and I felt a million times better that I wasn't pretending to my mom anymore, and that she knew who her son was, as opposed to her not knowing who her son is. Do people often say I'm wrong when they're not for no good Teso? Whatever that means. Yes. Maybe not often, but people do all the time. You know why? Because sometimes they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So people think they're wrong, and sometimes they don't even know that they're wrong or right. They have the wrong idea of things. Any chance your views are skewed? How? How are my views skewed? My views are through knowledge of who my mother is and how she would want to raise her kids. Not how I would, how she would. The things that she wants, because she's the same way as me. Any chance your views are skewed? On my mother? No. In fact, tell me, here's a question for you guys. If we're talking about my mother, who is more likely to have skewed views on her? Me, the person who's known her for 40 years and has a very good relationship with her and we talk about each other's feelings all the time? Or this random guy on YouTube who saw my video and when I shortened up a tiny little conversation I had with my mom once for 5 minutes out of the 40 years we've known each other. Yeah, it's at some point he had the fucking balls not the balls, but the gall to call me fucking arrogant when all of his comments are sheer arrogance of thinking he knows me and my family when he knows nothing about them and only heard a tiny snippet of our conversation. What if she is right? She's not right. Okay, what if she's right? But what if she was right later when she said, no, you were right? Like, what? Like, this is the most terrible arguments, dude. You have horrible arguments. How are you going to say what if she was right when later on she admits I was right? So what if she was right then? There you go. Your argument's defeated 100%. Goes in circles and never finds a place to go. Your argument was crap. Typical stupid smug Christian. Yeah, basically. How are my views skewed? The arrogance. Your views are skewed because you don't know us. They're obviously skewed. You don't know anything about my mom except for a 5-minute conversation that I explained that we had. That's all you know out of 40 years that I know her. Obviously, you're going to have a way more skewed understanding of the relationship between me and my mom than I do. Yeah, obviously you know exactly. So you're saying, how can I be skewed? You're obviously skewed. So obviously I'm going to know better. But your perspective is biased? It might be, but who cares? It's also honest. And it's also what I know. It's not what you know. Your perspective is biased because you came up with stuff. Obviously, this is something that is somewhere in your life. Maybe a relationship with your family is shitty. I'm sorry about that, but that has nothing to do with me. The relationship with my family is great. I'm asking questions. No, you weren't asking questions. You were making statements. We can go through this again. Here we go. Let me ask you guys, is this a question? When he's repeating my conversation, right? He says, Mom, I raised you wrong. Humility and accountability for her actions. You, no, you're perfect. Something I never said. How is that a question? Arrogant denial of her agency and growth. Does that sound like a question to you guys? Or does that sound like a statement? Does that sound like somebody who's trying to tell me what happened around what I said? Because that's not what I said happened at all. So, does that sound like a question to anybody? So, obviously you weren't asking questions. You were trying to tell me my experience. And you were totally wrong. Let's go on to the next one. This one's funny because he goes into religion. What would you consider proof God exists? And how does this mesh with consensus, populist culture? Like, who cares? What does that have to do with the video? Like, what? Ray Comfort is mocked for saying creation requires a creator, like a painting needs a painter. Yeah, it is kind of funny. I'd mock him for that too. However, he brings it to like all these different talking points that have nothing to do with religion. It's so weird. However, unarmed blacks shot by cops. Proof of racism, mostly male politicians, proof of sexism, which begs the question, what is proof? Proof are things that are solid that you can see and experience and understand and observe. If a God spoke to you and said, I'm God, would that suffice? No. Or would you think someone slipped LSD into your water supply? I probably wouldn't think something so specific, because that's be very strange. For that to be and since I've done LSD before, I'd know if I was on LSD. If Thor landed in your garden, would you call him a god or an alien? I wouldn't call him anything. If all you want to see is police brutality, how can I show you a justifiable homicide between white cops, black suspect? So first off, I have no idea what that has to do with the context of the story. I don't get that at all. If a dog comes up to me and says they're God, why would that mean that it's God? Like, what? So weird. What would you consider proof of God? Solidness. Something that you can prove. Like, what? I'm like, how old are you, dude, that proof needs to be defined to you? Proof is sufficient evidence. That's what proof is. That's it. Well, sure, ignore the questions and read the statement. Yeah, because the statements are funny. There are no questions. This one has questions, but most of them you haven't had questions. This is hardly an equal forum. What? Why is it disingenuous? Why isn't it an equal forum? And why do you deserve an equal forum? This is my channel. What? Why do you deserve an equal forum? I mean, we could get you on here if you want. I might have to start it over because I'm not on Hangouts, and I don't know if you're in a Discord that I can go into and talk to you through. That's about it. The only way I can do this. So what is proof of God? Proof of God is proof that there is a God. How old are you that you need proof to be defined to you? Do you know the definition of what proof is? Do you have proof of God? I mean, show it to us if it's proof that God exists. You might convince a lot of people in here. What? I don't even know what that means. My God, an example, not the only example. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I'm still waiting for that proof. People won't see what they don't want to see. Yeah, that's not all people. That's some people. What about you? Like, do you think everybody thinks like you do? Maybe that's you who does that, and you think everybody else suffers from that, but not everybody suffers from that. And what don't I want to see? I don't understand that. Are we arguing if God is real? Yeah, I know, right? The 30-year-old argument for me. Like, that argument happened so long ago. Something you can prove, pure vagueness. That's not vague. You have to prove something for it to be proven. How is that vague? That's specific as fuck. That's exactly what proving something means. You need evidence. Sufficient evidence. Just like, I wouldn't believe in evolution if there wasn't sufficient evidence in evolution. There's a ton of evidence that leads to that conclusion. And even then, I still leave a tiny margin of error that means that it could be wrong. You know, if we found more evidence than the evidence leading to evolution, and there's more evidence leading to something else, I would believe in that. Faith, accepting an argument without proof. You do that. We don't. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Or any tiny proof is proof to him. You need good proof, and you need proof that surpasses proof of something else. Yep, when you can't answer the question, ask a question. I already answered the question. I've actually I just went through describing believing in things that are proved. Like, what? It's so weird. Darren, are you all right, man? Like, you're not on anything, are you? Are you on any drugs? I mean, I won't shame you for doing drugs. I've done drugs a lot of times in my life, and I still do some now. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit that. But for fun, I don't do them all the time. But do you do drugs? Are you on some sort of drugs right now? Make a channel and cry about God. Yeah, Billy, you should. But let me go back to reading this. I don't see a reason to even answer any of these questions because it's not in context to the video. This has nothing to do with the video. So why would I? But then he says, oh yeah, so I answer. So I said, why would a dog talking to me mean God? If a dog talked to you and said, hey, I'm actually your mom, does that mean the dog is your mom? Like, really stupid logic, you know? It is. It's retarded logic. Really bad questioning. Line of questioning. So then he says, no, those are questions, not answers. What would you consider proof of God? I would consider proof of God sufficient evidence. How can I tell you specifically what a proof of a God is if nobody even knows? If there was a God, I have no idea what it would be. So how can I say what the proof of it was if I don't even know what it would be? Is it something metaphysical? If it's something metaphysical, then there can't be any proof of it physically, right? So, you know, like, you haven't thought... It's funny you might believe in God, but you haven't even thought deeply about it to even understand that. Evidence does mean something. Evidence is something you use to build up, and when you have multiple things of this evidence, it becomes proof. Can't handle the subject? No, you can't. You can't even form a coherent question about it. You keep asking, what would prove it to you? How would I know? I don't know what a God is. How would I know? If you said what could prove to you, you're making things up because you have no idea what a God is. You have no idea what certain planes of existence are. You know what I'm saying? You've never experienced it. How would you know? But if you want a proof of a God, then you would have to have sufficient evidence. Like, say, if God can become physical, if he can show me his physical self and show me that he has the ability to do these things and that he's created life, show it to me. Demonstrate it. But he hasn't, right? It can't be observed. So how can you have any evidence of a God? How can you? That's what I want to know. Are humans half dog? Not half, no, never. LOL, dumb question. That all you have? Why are you bitching? What am I bitching about? What? This is my point. It's so funny. Yeah. Darren, what is... Let's reverse the question, since you think I have problems answering it, right? Let's reverse the question. What is sufficient proof to you that God exists? And what would be sufficient evidence to you that God didn't exist? Let's do it like that. Both. Answer both if you can. For me, I don't have evidence that he doesn't exist. For me, it's really, the burden is on the person claiming it. There's no proof that he does exist. Why should I believe other people that he does, if, in that case? If you don't know what God looks like, how can you recognize him? Exactly. That's why I said I can't give you specific evidence, because I don't know what... I not only don't know what a God is, I don't know what a God looks like. I don't know what a God is. I don't know anything about it. If there was a God, God wouldn't have a look. Why would God have a look? That would be ridiculous if God had a look. Yeah, he's going to say the Bible, exactly. Because there's nothing else out there. Darren, what is sufficient evidence for you to not believe in the Shinto religion? The Shinto religion has gods. They have a heavenly god, male god, and a heavenly female god. Why do you not believe in those? And what evidence would be sufficient for you to believe in those? But anyways, again, this is out of context because my video had nothing to do with this. My video wasn't to argue whether, God is real or not. My video was to talk about other things. How can Alf accept evidence if he can't recognize it? You know what a dog looks like, so he can recognize a dog from a cat. That's such a useless statement. Ask again, please. Why do you Do you believe in God, actually? Let's put it this way, Darren. Do you believe in God? Are you a Christian? You seem like it, but I don't want to assume. So it'd be better if you just let us know. What religion are you in? Or if you're not in a religion, at least, maybe you believe in a God. What God do you believe in? And can you explain to us the evidence for you to believe in that God? Because you're asking me. So how can you say there's insufficient evidence? Well, explain it. This is why. Stop. Don't worry about that. Worry about telling us what God do you believe in and what was the evidence that had you believe in this God. You want to know what would be evidence enough for us. We want to know what was evidence enough for you. Maybe the evidence you tell us will be evidence enough for us to believe, What are your pronouns? I don't know if he's going to answer that, but I mean, it sucks he has to type. I mean, I don't know if there's a way for me to get him on, so I know. Oh my God, So you're not going to answer it? It's funny, he's constantly saying, oh, sorry, wait, hold on. I know there's a lag in this. Maybe he hasn't gotten to that part yet. Sorry. I might be jumping to conclusion. What are your adjectives? It was a joke, dude. Like, wow, you don't get a joke. But really, what God do you believe in? And what was the evidence that you're not a Christian? Okay. Next, are you going to go through all the religions you're not? Or are you just going to go straight to what God do you believe in? And what was evidence enough for you? Okay, you're not in a religion. Great. So what God do you believe in? And what was evidence enough for you? Atheists call me Christian. I'm not calling you a Christian. I'm asking you. I know there's a lag, so it might seem weird, but Christians call me atheist. Yeah, we got that. So basically, you believe in a God, but you're not in a religion, which is fine. Lots of people do that. That's like most of Asia. But do you... But yeah, so what do you consider evidence enough then? Obviously, if you're asking me, let's reverse that on you. I gave you the best, I answered the best I could. Because since I don't know what a God is, I can't actually know what the evidence would be. I'm just a guy asking questions. You guys want to put people in boxes. We didn't put people in boxes. We're guessing. That's what you did. You put me in a box. That's the whole reason we're here, dumbass. The whole reason we're here is because you put me in a box and you thought you knew my experiences when you did it, and you were terribly wrong. Which we're going to continue with because I see that this isn't working. He's not going to answer questions. He's not going to do anything. Alf, this is why this guy deserves to be... Oh, yeah, but not yet. I want to go through these and answer these and, go through all his statements. And have him respond. Did I go through this already? Yeah, heat of the moment stuff. Yeah, there was no heat of the moment. We were here. Question. Yeah, all the alcoholic stuff. Proof God exists. Ridiculous. It has nothing to do with this video. And then he says, bro, you're all over the place. If she raised you to ask questions, why are you afraid to question her? Nowhere in my video was I afraid to question her. Nowhere in my video did I say I was afraid to question her. So I have no idea where he got that from. There was no point where I was afraid to question my mom. I've never been afraid to question my mom. But a lot of times I haven't really had the need to question my mom. I have a few times. I mean, but why would I be afraid to question her? That doesn't even make sense. That's why it's weird. He thinks I'm all over the place. This is why I think he wasn't paying attention to either. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention. Maybe he wasn't skipping through it. I felt like he was skipping through it because he was missing huge chunks of context. But maybe he just was zoning out through half of it, I've done that before. I've watched videos and zoned out for like small chunks and shit. She hasn't done a good job raising you. No, that's not the complete story. That's taken it to the extreme. She only said she messed up raising me because I wasn't Christian. That's it. It wasn't anything else. She didn't say that because of other things. It was that one specific thing. She was upset finding out. It made her sad finding out that I was an atheist. And she said, damn, I raised you wrong because you're not Christian like me. You know what I'm saying? And her parents before her and her parents before her and our ancestors who got raped and forced into Christianity by the Spaniards. Which was also a part of why I was why am I believing this without looking into it when it was forced on my ancestors? Done a good job. She hasn't done a good job. If you are afraid of telling her you're an atheist, Now, I wasn't afraid of telling her I was an atheist. I didn't want to make her sad. But you see, these aren't questions. He's telling me I'm all over the place. He's telling me I'm afraid of telling my mother things. You can use the word afraid, but it's a different context, right? I wasn't afraid. I didn't want to tell her. I didn't want to make her sad. I wasn't afraid because of the repercussions of it to me. I wasn't afraid because maybe, something was going to happen to me. I was afraid of, I didn't want to tell her and afraid of telling her because I didn't want to make her sad. Nobody wants to make their parents sad. Nobody wants to make their best friend sad. Who would want to do that? This is impossible as well. I just said how it was possible, that you're out of context there. Again, here's another one. 9:45, he timestamps. So much emotion. That's him reading that. It wasn't there. There was emotion, but it wasn't that bad. And even I said in the video, after I explained to her how I thought she didn't do a bad job raising me, that she did a good job raising me, she was a little less sad. And I was a little less sad. We hugged and, we made, and it was good. It felt good. We know the truth about each other as opposed to pretending, She spoke a harsh truth. It wasn't that harsh at all. And it was incorrect. That made you sad. Of course it made me sad. Who wouldn't be sad that it didn't make me sad because of me. It made me sad because my mother thought she raised me wrong, and she's wrong about that. And I know that would make her sad, and that's what made me sad. It wasn't sad. It wasn't a harsh truth in that way. Like, see, this is where I say where he's extrapolating the wrong things. I don't know if the rest of you guys, took it that way, but doesn't that make sense for me to say I was sad because she thinks she fucked up raising me, and I don't want that? Obviously not. You aren't open to your mom being less than great? Yeah, I am. What? I just stated like 10 minutes ago that my mom has made mistakes, but that's okay. We move on from that. Humans make mistakes. It's fine. What? Heat of the moment. Do you only deal in extremes? It's fair to say the conversation was emotional. It was a little emotional, but it wasn't heat of the moment. Heat of the moment has a specific meaning. And it was not heat of the moment. It was very calm. It was emotional, not in an angry, explosive, boom out kind of way. It was emotional as in, and look, hold my mother's hand and say, hey, Mom, listen, I don't believe in these things, and I want to let you know how I feel about God and religion. It wasn't, I don't believe in that stuff, Mom. I wasn't a kid when I talked to her. I was an adult. Please keep up equals false upmanship. Yeah, emotional as fuck, yeah. Kids should turn out like their parents. She's Christian. You're not. She's failed. Simple. No, she didn't fail. And I did turn out like her. That's just one aspect of my mother. It's not all the aspects of my mother. If I'm 98% like my mother, she's succeeded. Right? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not bashing her cooking or hugs. Yeah, so what? Pure emotion? What? Degrades it to what? You're weird, dude. Fuck her sadness. That is the fuck her sadness. Why? What the fuck? You're a fucking weirdo, dude. What are you talking about? Truth hurts, but don't lie to. I never lied. It's lie to spare. Where did I lie? Can you explain where the lying is? How is this hard to understand? You value her feelings over the truth. No, I value her feelings. No. Oh my God, busted. I got you now, buddy. I got you now. I don't value her feelings over the truth. Well, I value both equally, but guess what? I told her the truth knowing it would make her sad. Your statement is 100% wrong. The whole reason I told her I was an atheist was knowing that she would be sad from me doing it, but her telling her is because I thought the truth was more important in that instance, that she should know who I am. Bam! Argument defeated. Who said you acted like that? You did. My mom's made mistakes. What a BS. Nothing faux humility. Nobody's perfect statement. No, it's a statement of fact. What are you talking about? Well, defeated. Yeah, this guy's arguments are horrible, right? That was easy to defeat. I've stated that like 100 times, and I said it in the video a bunch of times. Bum, bum, bum. All right, so... Oh, yeah, so he says, you dislike feeling sad. Who doesn't? Do any of you guys out there like feeling sad? Like, what kind of statement is that? So you chose to call it a lie. I didn't call anything a lie. Not once in the entire video did I call anything a lie. So I don't know what he's talking about. So that you don't feel sad. Well, since I didn't call anything a lie, that the next sentence didn't make any sense. Grow up, man. Accept the truth. Forgive as necessary. Move on. There's nothing to forgive. What is there to forgive? I still don't understand. What is there to forgive? Your parents are divorced, okay? You were having problems that saw you return to your parents' home. You don't like feeling sad. What? Of course I don't like feeling sad. Nobody does. Stereotypical misdirected anger. I have no anger. Where's the anger? What is the anger that I'm misdirecting? I don't have anger. God doesn't exist because my life isn't perfect. Now, that never happened. If you watched the video, like you said you did, you would see that I slowly started questioning God, and I ended up becoming an atheist because I looked into God, and it didn't sound right. It sounded weird. I didn't have a bad life. My life was actually pretty fucking good. And I had no problem with my parents' divorce. If anything, my brother was the one who took it bad. I took it good. I wanted my parents to be divorced. Towards the end, all they did was fight all the time. Why would I want that? Neither of them were happy together. You know? Why would I want them to live in misery? I wanted them to get a divorce because they would be happier apart. I'll take people pointing fingers than people denying I exist. Weird. Say look how he made all that stuff up. God doesn't exist because my life isn't perfect. Where did he get that from my story? It's so weird. I even explained in my story why I think God doesn't exist. Wow. Ah, you did it again? Why are you deleting them? Oh, did you hide them or you just... Oh, you just timed them up. Okay. That's funny. Who said you acted like that? You did. Fuck her feelings? When did I say fuck her feelings? They are not... Wow, that's so weird. Feeling attacked is not being attacked. What? I don't even know what that means. Feelings are not facts. Nobody said feelings were facts. That's so weird. He's just making things up. I think, you know what it is that, well, at this point, I think he knows he's wrong, and he doesn't want to admit it. That's ego, probably. And if he doesn't, then he's just delusional. I'm explaining how he can go back and watch this video and listen to what I'm saying now, and see that I never said any of these things. He's just extrapolating stuff out of himself. Sorry, hold on, I messed up, because, okay. If you guys were hearing a humming, you might hear it a little less now. Yeah, he's just extrapolating things out of nowhere. He doesn't know me or my parents. He doesn't know our experiences. Just like the part where he said, he's bringing up my parents' divorce as if it was a problem for me, and it actually wasn't. I wanted my parents to be divorced. I was tired of hearing them fight all the time and seeing them in misery and not being happy. I want my mom to be happy. I want my dad to be happy. And them splitting up brought happiness to both of them. And things were so much better. My brother kind of couldn't accept it. He was kind of upset about it for a while, but he got over it. But I got over it almost instantly, and I preferred it. I actually thought being homeless was worth it to get away from that home situation where my parents were two loving parents for the longest time, but then were at each other's throats for the last year they were together, you know? I wasn't a baby when my parents got divorced. I was older. I understood what divorce was, and I understood that, you know, my parents weren't getting along and that they needed to be apart, you know, to be happy. I understood these things. It's like, what? There was no trauma there. So weird. He's saying fuck her feelings, Alf. Yeah, I know, right? Weird. What? Why would I do that? I understand my mom's feelings. And what? Yeah, it just doesn't even make sense, right? So weird. I mean, it's funny because all you guys are understanding this, what I'm saying. All you guys are telling him he's nuts, but he can't come to the realization that, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I heard his story and I'm reading it wrong and looking too deep into it. Maybe possibly even putting his own experiences into it. But for some reason, he can't admit that, you know, these 10 people in my chat right now are telling him he's, you know, that he's psychotic and making things up, and he can't accept that. It's so weird. Divorce is the break of the contract. Yeah, you know, when I was growing up, I was kind of one of the few people at that age who still had their parents together. I never saw divorce as a weird thing. And I had a lot of friends who still had good relationships with their parents, even though they were divorced. So I was never afraid of that. You know, I would spend the week with my mom and spend the weekends with my dad. It was cool. Me and my dad would, you know, hang out, watch movies, have fun. You know, my mom was always good to me, and there was never any issues there with the split or the divorce. My brother didn't like it just on the context of divorce. He just didn't like the fact that my parents got divorced, even if they were fighting all the time. Where me, I don't really see marriage as being a big deal, and I don't see it. I don't understand why people would stay together just because they decided to get married if they hate each other. or don't get along. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't even as a kid. He's not doing any of that. He's just a debate me bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe, or he just, or like I said, ego won't let him admit that he's wrong and just was making things up the whole time, you know? And maybe, I think maybe it's a part of his experiences, and he thinks that everybody has experiences like he does when they don't. Because I didn't have that experience. I have a good relationship with my family. I'm sorry if you don't. I don't know if you have a good relationship with your family, but I don't know. Let's see. Here's another one. All right, this one's long because me and him went back and forth on this one, but he puts another one. 957. No, Mom, you are perfect, which aren't my words. He puts them in quotes as if they're my words, but they're not my words, right? Shut up and take my compliments as opposed to continuing this difficult but necessary conversation as it's making us feel sad. Didn't happen at all like that. In fact, we completely finished the conversation, came to resolutions, and hugged it out after. So none of that happened. The conversation wasn't even that difficult. It was actually kind of a, you know, like since my mom is like my best friend, I was able to express my feelings to her, and she was able to express her feelings to me pretty easily. It wasn't difficult at all. It was a little sad, but sadness isn't always difficult. It wasn't difficult at all. Yeah, I said, as opposed to continuing this difficult and necessary conversation. Yeah, it was necessary, wasn't difficult, and we did continue it. Totally finished it. And then he responds as if he's my mom, but this isn't how my mom responded at all. Yes, son, flattery and lack of accountability is how to get a pat on the head from women. What? Where does he get this stuff, man? That's funny. You struts around beaming cause female approval. What? And then he says this. See, this is funny because he said all I was doing was asking questions. This isn't asking questions. Listen to this statement. You're a textbook example. You worship your mom, so deny a male god that didn't protect you from her as your earthly father didn't. Really is that simple. What? Why would I need to be protected from my mom? My mom was a good mom to me. She did a good job. Like, she never hurt me. Why would I need protection for her? Same thing with my dad. My dad never hurt me either. My dad was a good dad, you know. I had a lot of fun with my dad. I still have a lot of fun with my dad and my mom. Separately, because they don't get along with each other, but that's okay. But yeah, you worship your mom, so you deny him. I don't worship my mom either. Like, where's he getting this stuff? I'm a textbook example of something that I'm not even close to. Like, none of that makes any sense, and I have no idea where he gets it. And then he says this, which is so funny, because this video is labeled perfectly, but this is what he says. This video has fuck all to do with David Silverman. It's about you and a ton of shit you've yet to resolve with your parents. Might want to retitle it before he catches wind, as this is no way promotes him, so it's essentially clickbait. Let me explain something, right? That video I put up is a little over 15 minutes long. The part where I'm talking about the conversation with my mom is like 2 or 3 minutes of that. So this guy's saying my video is clickbait because 2 or 3 minutes of the video is a conversation with my mom. How does that make any sense? And it's not clickbait. The title is exactly how David Silverman helped me out. And the story, the entire story, even to the part with me talking about my mom, is how people like David Silverman and outspoken atheists helped me get through the time and realize that I'm not alone. I'm not the only person who thinks like this. I'm not the only person who's gone through having to make their parents sad by telling them I'm an atheist. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of the video. How is that clickbait? Nowhere in the video do I say that I made this to promote him. Nowhere in the description does it say, I'll read the description. The description says, recently David Silverman did an interview on the accusations against him, telling his side of the story. So I got the idea to make a video on how David Silverman helped me out. This whole video is about how David Silverman helped me out being an atheist and understanding that I'm not alone in being an atheist. Before then, I talked about it in the video. Before YouTube and before I discovered people like David Silverman and Devin, I had nobody to talk about atheism with. Who was I going to talk about atheism with? I didn't have anybody. Didn't learn how he helped you? That's your own problem. This is a problem you have with context. Just like you came up with all this bullshit out of the context that I spoke of. You didn't get how he helped me. You have a serious context problem. Sure was like ordering what? What is he talking about? Your ego. Where's my ego? How? How is my ego fragile? When challenged, deflect, paraphrased. Now, that's what you did. You did all those things. You paraphrased. You've been deflecting this whole time, and now that we're questioning you back. Sure, it was like ordering pizza. I'm not sure what he's saying that to. Wasn't difficult, waited years to do. No, it wasn't difficult in the sense that it wasn't like it was a hard, like, it wasn't difficult in the sense that we weren't fighting. It wasn't like crushing to us. It was kind of sad. It was difficult to say it because I didn't want to make my mom sad. I think I've said that so many times in this stream. You're still not getting it. I don't understand how else I could say it. Do you know what sadness is? I don't know if you know what that means. Or disappointment, a little disappointment. What? Didn't learn how he helped you? Yeah, that's your own contextual problem. I think everybody else here understood that from the video. Outspoken atheist, not him? What do you mean? I don't know what that even means. This is insane. Anywhere else, this drivel wouldn't be entertainment and he would be out of our sight a long time ago. Yeah, exactly, Grant. But this is the funny part. Everyone in this chat is telling him he's retarded, he's making things up, that he's wrong, and he doesn't see it. He still thinks he's right. You know what I'm saying? That's the funny thing. That's the joke. Hashtag facepalm. Be sure. Fight the clickbait strawman. Where's the clickbait? Marino, my mom was perfect. What? Nobody said anybody's mom was perfect. I'm right. What ego? Where? You're the one doing that. Yeah, that's you. Did not mention fighting? Who said anything about fighting? What? Oh my god. How funny is this, guys? This is the reason I wanted to do this stream. I mean, I told him before that too, that I wanted to stream so everybody could laugh at him, but he came in on his own. I wasn't going to mention his name, but he came on his own. So everybody is laughing at him. I didn't have to do anything for anybody to laugh at him. He came in and made it himself. So again, let's continue with that. I said, are you making stuff up? You didn't even watch my video. Oh, and one more thing, really ignorant thing about this reply. This video has to do with David Silverman as much as the title and description suggests. You have to have some serious low IQ to think it suggested anything else. So it's not clickbait. It's actually exactly what is stated. I feel like you watched the video by skipping through and didn't even pay attention. I kind of want to laugh at you on a stream. Yeah, that's where I said, are you down for a live stream? I mean, you could come in and we can laugh at you in audio either way. But I just don't know how to get you on here. I guess I can open a Google Hangouts. I might have to start the stream over for that though. I feel like you watched the video, skip it through. Yeah, it does really feel like it. Or he didn't pay attention, which is, I think maybe he just didn't pay attention. Kind of while laughing at straight. I read that already. I want to show my subs the kind of psychopaths. Yeah, it's so weird. This has happened to me like ever since I hit like maybe 500 subs. Occasionally I get the weird psychopath leaving me a message that's a really fucking, just a straight up weirdo. I want to show my subs the kind of psychopaths making videos on the internet attracts. I think everybody does. Any of us who know YouTubers, we all have a story that YouTuber told us about some weird psychopath leaving message. I guess this one will be mine. I think it would be really interesting. Maybe I can question you too. Like what happened in your life to have you project these stories onto me. Yeah, I would really like to know, but he won't admit it. I think we've been kind of, edging towards that, and he's not going to say. But something definitely terrible happened in his life that left him thinking that, make him come up with these things. Because who comes up with these things out of the blue? It has to be some sort of experience. Somebody he knows experienced their life like this, and now he thinks other people have too. I don't know. But something has to be up with this, right? It can't. People just don't make things up like this out of the blue. Have you ever been known to suffer delusions? That's a good question. Have you? Stuff like that, because at this point I am super fascinated by what caused you to make these things up out of the blue. That is nowhere near the story I told. Not even close. I have no problem being honest with you if you're honest with me. I'm an open book. Everyone that knows me knows that. I mean, you guys in the chat, especially you guys with the wrenches, you guys have known me for like 2 years. We talk daily. I'm not ashamed to admit things to you guys. You know that I tell you guys everything in my life, the crazy times I've been through and the kind of drugs I've done and the weird fucking shit I've done. You guys know about all that stuff. I have no problem being honest with you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you have obviously suffered some sort of trauma. I still would like to hear what that trauma was. I don't think he's going to say what it is. I'm guessing some sort of abandonment. Yep, am I close? Let me know if you're down a stream. But yeah, I'm guessing some sort of abandonment. I could be wrong, though. That's just a guess. So then he responds, so just more emotional rants and insults, which is all his comments were from the beginning, were rants and insults. Takes a high IQ to analyze what was said. Any fool can simply accept what was said. That's Really stupid. Well, I responded to that saying, and the low IQ experience the Dunning-Kruger effect, thinking they accurately analyzed an event from what was said when they are actually nowhere near the truth and is convinced they are. This is you right now. It's true. This is 100% him. He has Dunning-Krugered his way through my story, and he thinks he's 100% correct on his story when he's nowhere near the truth. Like, none of that happened. So weird. He said, me wants to discuss serious issues. I don't know you. First off, from the beginning, you wanting to discuss serious issues with me, I don't know you. Fuck off. I don't need to discuss any serious issues with you. You're not my friend. I don't know you in the slightest. You're some guy who watches my videos and leaves weird comments here and there. Why would I talk serious issues with you? So he says, me wants to discuss serious issues. You want to pwn me for mockery? I think you mean with mockery. But yes, I don't know you. For you to come to me and want to and question me about serious issues, I don't know you. Yeah, I'm gonna mock you. You're a psychopath for thinking that you can come to me and talk to me about serious issues. Get the fuck out of here. That's reserved for people who know me and my friends. You're not my friend. I don't know you. I'll happily talk to you. Was gonna DM you on Twitter because I don't want to come off as attacking you. You're not coming off as attacking me, but you're coming off as a rude prick who thinks you can come to me and tell me that you know me when you don't. But yeah, these are my thoughts on the things you said. Your thoughts on the things I said are retarded and wrong. And which I told you, and you are reluctant and you just can't admit it. Much like AIU does to countless content. He doesn't do it like that. He does it completely different than you. You went into specifics, made up specifics and shit. He doesn't do that. He like questions like, well, this guy seems to have insecurity issues. He doesn't say, oh, this guy must be in love with his mom and worship her. And you know, he's never done that. It's so weird. I heard what you said and that which you didn't. That's your problem. You heard what I didn't say. Yeah, there you go. That comment right there, that reply, he just admitted that he made stuff up. He just admitted it right there. Set it up as it would go better in a dialogue than wall of text. I agree with you. And if you have a way, do you have a Discord I can go to and go talk to you? Oh, you got timed out again. Well, if you have a Discord I can go into and talk to, or if you have an idea of how to set this up, let me know. I started this on Discord. I probably shouldn't have. Maybe I should have started it. You are an open mind, Alf. That's something that people can't handle. Yeah, thanks, Xenofex. You know, you've been watching my channel for a long time. You know me, dude. You know how I just fucking say shit how it is, and I'm open. Oh my, you feel like I skip-watched the video? Guess that's checkmate, despite the fact that we're playing NBA 2K12? To be honest, I don't know what that even means. I don't even play, basketball video games. I'd rather play basketball in real life than play it in a video game. So I responded with either that or you zoned out. There are things I explained that you seem to not have heard. Yeah, the big thing he missed was he keeps asking me why I didn't tell my mom. And I explained that in the video. So that's why I feel like he skipped through, because he asks me in these comments at least 3 or 4 different times. He keeps bringing up either I was afraid to tell my mom, why didn't you tell your mom, blah, blah. I explained it in the video. So you had to have missed at least that part you had to leave zoned out on. And I don't think he can deny that, because why would he ask so many times if he saw it, if he heard it in the video, you know, and understood. And then he goes into this, I'm black and slow. I didn't even know you were black, nor do I care if you're black. I don't care what color you are. Who gives a shit? If your mom raised you to question, why would there be things you didn't want to tell her? What? How do those correlate? That doesn't even make any sense. Why are you fearful of her reaction? I wasn't fearful of her reaction. Well, I guess you put in parentheses feeling sad. Yeah, who wants to make their parents sad? What? Do you? Do you like making your parents sad? Do you relish in that? I don't understand. I don't want to make her sad because I love my mom and she's done a good job raising me and she worked really hard for me to, you know, to have the things I needed to have. So why would I want to disappoint her and make her sad? What? It's weird. It's like somebody who doesn't understand empathy or relationships at all. What's up, RB? How you doing, man? Yes. Yeah, it's just people on the internet. Very strange people. I don't understand it. All right. So then there was the next replies. It's almost done, guys. There's one more now. Oh yeah. So this is the part where I talked about my brother, and he takes it so literal. And it's really not the point of the story at all. This is the weird. This is where he doesn't realize that he's a fucking weirdo stepping out his face. That's a Northeast term. I don't know if you guys know it. Well, old school even. But he's stepping out his face. He doesn't even realize this. But he's questioning parts of the story that aren't the point of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you questioning that part? It has nothing to do with it. This whole time he's questioning me about my discussion with my mom, which was like 2-3 minutes of the video. Not even, it was just, the stuff I said was just context for the rest of the video. But he decided to hone in on this one little aspect of the video and question me about the deeper aspects of it that are irrelevant to the rest of the video. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's so weird. And then he doesn't understand why that's weird. Why, I don't know him, right? Like, this is just some random guy on the internet who watched my video, and he thinks it's cool for him to hone in on this little part of my story that has nothing to do with the rest of the story and question me on the deepness of that. And like the one part where he was like, "Oh, what were you and your mom talking about before that?" Like, why would you ask me that? Who the fuck are you to ask me that, right? So weird. Man, I don't know this guy. What the fuck? I seen you drawn a crowd. Yeah, not too big of a crowd, but that's okay. I got more likes than I have people watching, which is weird. Yeah, but I know you now for quite some time, Alf. You have no fear of being honest or admitting that you are not perfect, and that's something rare. Yeah, that's the thing, and this, which is weird because I've seen this guy in my comments a lot. So you'd think he'd get the same thing, but as we've seen, he has a serious problem with context, and he has a serious problem making things up around the things you say. So, I mean, it's been shown here. I mean, you can see it. It's clear as day that this guy has serious problems with context. Like, he just doesn't understand things, or just making things up to it. But, hold on. He had one more. I think we have one more comment from him. Oh yeah. So this is the part where I was gonna say where he gets really, maybe takes things a little too specifically. Maybe I can understand this a little bit, but it's still kind of retarded. But he says, all of a sudden is a born-again Christian. This is the part of the video where I was talking to my brother, and I didn't go into the context because it's not important to the rest of the video. The reason I was telling these stories about how these conversations I had with my mom and my brother was to talk about the context of somebody who is an atheist and is coming out or talking to their family about it. This isn't heated moments. These aren't angry moments. These are just situations where, it's time to tell my family something about myself that they don't necessarily know. It's like coming out as gay, right? Like, you want to tell your mom, but you're not sure how they're going to take it, or they're going to be a bit sad, but they'll get over it. And you're like, you know what? It's time to rip that Band-Aid off. And that's kind of what happened. It's this guy's taking it as bigger events than they are, when it's not even important that important. It was more in the context of the entire video, but he's taken this little piece and he wants to delve into this and think that there's some sort of traumatic experience. Just like earlier, he was saying something about forgiveness. Like, what's there to forgive? What are you talking about? There's no forgiveness there. Saying, oh, you have issues with, no, there's no issues there. What are the issues? Like, what? Where in my video did you get what issues? Like, where did you get that? They're nowhere there. This is why I think he has issues, and he's trying to put it on me. Testing. Discord downloaded Azrudaz. Oh, that's your name? I guess I could do a call, maybe? Because I don't want to bring you into our Discord. Because, I probably could, because you'd get kicked out of it instantly. There's nobody in there who would want to be want you to stick around for very long. I guess you can go in there, right? It's an open Discord. I don't know what you guys think. Should we bring them into the AIU Discord for now, and then we'll kick them out after? Let me go into live streaming. All right. And anybody else who wants to come in and hang out, I'm down with that too. But oh yeah, before he comes in, let's get past that last part so that he understands. I'm probably gonna end up having to go through all this again because for some reason he has a listening problem. So I'm probably gonna have to go through all this again. All of a sudden, a born-in Christian? Yeah, so I had to explain to him. I said, oh man, I can't believe I really need to break this down. It was all of a sudden to me because me and my brother had been living away from each other for a time. We just talked on the phone, small talk. This was the first time we had seen each other in like maybe 3-4 years. And he had been living in Georgia, which, surprise, surprise, Bible Belt area. And all of a sudden he was a born-again Christian to me. I mean, it wasn't like my brother was ever an atheist, so it wasn't that huge of a shock. But my brother was never that hardcore into religion either. And then all of a sudden he was. To me, all of a sudden. It didn't happen overnight. I'm telling the story from my point of view because that's what the video is about. Doing it from any other way would be out of context to the video. Alright, so he said, like, in the middle of a lap dance? How long should it take? Who cares how long should it takes different for everybody. Who cares? That has nothing to do with the video. And could it be suggested you all of a sudden became atheist when you told your mom? No, I explained at the beginning of the video that me becoming an atheist was a long process starting from childhood, and I basically became an atheist in high school. I explained that in the video. This is why I say you seems like you skipped through it or didn't pay attention, because it's explained in the video. Because you're super arrogant, which I guess is indeed super atheist too. No, you're the one who's arrogant. You made up all this stuff about me. That's sheer arrogance. Alright, let's see. Instantly, because you're a likable guy. Every upvote doubles for you. Yeah, I guess so. Well, now I have equal. That's cool. Yep, I know you've got some time. Testing. Discord. Alright, I have your name. I don't know how that works, though. Are you... let me see. I have a Twitter message, and maybe that's from him. Let's see. That's your request. Dawes. Oh, I know who you are! Alright, hold on. I'm gonna send you the invite. Which I don't really need to. You can go to any of Devin's videos and come in. It's the Discord link. Yeah, you know what? The Discord... Dawes, the Discord link is in any of AIU's videos. Just look at any of his videos. It's in the description. Just click that and come into our Discord. Yeah, I'll see your name when you come in. I know who you are. You're the guy who sends Devin little raps here and there. I didn't know you were such a weirdo. I thought you were cool. I guess I was wrong. I have no idea how. Just got it. No, he became... Yeah, he might have. I wasn't there for that, so I can't tell you. Cool. I searched your videos. Yeah. But, like I said, go to Devin's channel and click, any video. Probably his latest one would be better. And if you look down in it, it'll say Discord, his Discord link, and it'll share. It has an invite there. It's a public Discord. You can come in. Wow, wow, wow. I'm gonna go back to playing the song I made. Bum, 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 bum. I can't look away. He became Christian after years of deliberation is such a weird thing to say, because how would I know that? How would I know how my brother became born again Christian? I didn't even ask him. He just told me I'm a born again Christian. I said okay, and then we had a conversation about it. As simple as that. To me, it was all of a sudden. That's the whole point of the video, is that it's from my context and how I grew as an atheist. Like what? Weird. Later, Carter. I live in the Bible Belt and I am still an atheist. Derogatory is a deep thread of impatience. Yeah. 55 years of this argument still worth having since the liars are still lying. What does that mean? Suddenly straw man. Suddenly straw man. Yeah, raw as fuck. Alright, well, I'm waiting for him to come in the Discord. I don't know if he did. Let me see. Check the welcome. Islamic Space Program's back in there. I don't know if we want him in there. Might have to look into that, guys. Wow, wow. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. He hasn't responded if he's making his way in here. Ken Lee, you're 58. You got 18 years on me, buddy. I should make a song called Suddenly Strong Man. I might one day. I've been messing with that chiptune stuff, man, so who knows. People are funny. Yeah, I'm still waiting for him. I don't know if he... Oh, wait. Yeah, I see that he's entered the Discord. Let me verify him so that he can come into the voice chat. Alright, if you're still listening, dude, if you go into... There's a voice channel called Waiting. I don't know if you can go into any voice channel you want, really, that allows you in, and I could drag you into the one I'm in. So, but I don't know which ones you'll be able to get into, so for sure everybody can get into the Waiting one. So if you go into the Waiting one, I could pull you into the channel I'm in and we can talk. If you're still listening, I don't even know where you are because I haven't seen you. I'm back in. Still trying to figure it out, I think. Andrew Yang rising the polls. Yeah, funny enough, he beat Kamala Harris in her own state by 1%. I think he got 7%. She got 6%. In her own state. This is sad for her. Some dude out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm still waiting for this dude. I don't know if he's figuring it out, but I'm guessing he's never been on Discord, so I can understand that it could be difficult to figure it out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Don't know what it's doing. Sent me back here. I sent you back to my video. I seen you enter the Discord. I looked at the welcome page and I seen that your name showed up. Let me see if I can tag you as... Alright, I tagged you in the text chat. Do you see that? Of the Discord. If you see that, yeah, there you go. Okay, you see it, yo. So, to the left of that, you see there's channels there. I'm in one of those that says live streaming. Under that, you'll see the pouch, HQ chat, AFK, welcoming channels, and then you'll see newbies waiting. If you click on that, those are the voice channels. That'll get you on the voice thing. I wonder if there's a way to tag that so you could just click it and it puts them in there. Yeah, still don't see him. I mean, he's in the text chat in Discord, but he's not coming into the voice chat. This shit always is a problem, though. He's probably going to come in, and then it's going to end up being like, his mic ain't going to work on it or something. There's always issues like that. Sending an image of what it looks like. Okay. Now he's just, like, talking to other people in there and posting stuff, so I guess I don't know what's going on. How's everybody doing out there? You guys doing good? This fuck is in our Discord. Yeah, I mean, Billy, we can kick him out anytime we want. It doesn't make a difference if he's in there or not. Oh, there he is and waiting. Hello? You hear me? Nope. He went back to waiting. Don't go back. Don't go back to waiting. Stay in here. You hear me? You're not talking back, or?
No, I'm trying to figure out if it's doing it. It's not telling me it's connected to anything. I have no picture.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but you're really low and muffled. Like your mic doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, probably would be.
Okay. Yeah. I'll wait till you get that set up.
Good evening. Please, I just apologize for the tone. I'm not really sure how
I don't know. Do you guys hear him? I don't know if I have this set up on the OBS. Let me know, guys. I think I do. Where am I? Yeah, I should be.
Yeah, I'm not.
All right. I think you're good. I heard you all right, decently at least where I can make out what you're saying.
I've got it as close as
But I mostly want to know where you came up with all this shit you commented on my video with.
Like I said, you can hear me then. Again, apologize for anything that's misconstrued tone or capital letter.
Yeah, I don't find it as an attack. I just find it very odd and strange. It's a very strange thing for people to. I'm giving a like. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. No, my video is like the parts that you honed in on had nothing. You know, it wasn't important to the video. The video, those things were just to give a little context to the rest of the video. And you're honing in on things that like have that are not important.
It was an explanation of it, like seeing those people out and about gave you I totally get that bit, but I'm that kind of guy that picks at the other bit, because it's like that bit was a bit easy and that bit seemed a bit more difficult. So when you were saying things like, oh, did a good job and they didn't force us, well, I was saying that you might, I was thinking, well, maybe he should have been more, not forcing you. I like sometimes when I use certain words or phrases, you might want to take the intent when I said, oh, you rant or no, be like that. Just in the general, the loose, for want of better words, rather than the act. You know, you were picking up cup.
I understand what you're saying, but it's a thing that you're looking too deep into something that wasn't even as deep as you think it was. Like you're making it way more than it is.
But I also believe it's possible that there is. Because like you said, you, from the things that even when I say like, no, mum, you're perfect, you seem to take that very literally. But even when you're talking about it, no, I had a good life. No, you don't be making blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, yes, but from your perspective, you're looking at all the good things and all the good times, but you may not be even conceiving.
No. The point of me saying I had a good life is that the good outweighed the bad for most of my life. Of course, I had difficult times. I was homeless at points. It was rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the good outweighed the bad for all of it. Like, and my parents were, they made sure we felt we were loved. They worked hard to make us, not feel like we were poor, even though we were.
There's not too dissimilar from my. That's what I'm saying. When I, it's really weird. Like when I say things like me, automatically placing myself in the opposite position. So it's not like if I say you're beta, I'm saying I'm alpha.
Right.
Me saying look, I'm here, I'm probably beta 2 steps less so, and you're like 2 steps behind me. So I recognize.
So look,
I'm not. Huh?
The way I see it is, I feel like you put yourself in my shoes, and you're seeing it your way. That's why I'm like, I feel like this is something that you have issues with in your life, and you're putting it on me.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I'm seeing where else exists and who else may be oblivious to it. If you want me to tell you some of my story why I'm more immediate about it, I can.
Nah, I don't. To be honest, I don't know you like that, so I don't really care like about your past and stuff.
That's my point. None of these things to me, like you said, I don't want to make my mum feel so. I'm not being rude to her. I'm not saying go out there and piss her off and make her miserable. But I'm saying don't go caught up in feeling not wanting her to be sad. Empathy. I don't understand the word. I really don't. Sounds like one of those left good words, like equality. They sound really wonderful, but the more you hear about it, the more you dig into it. Like if you're telling her the truth and it makes you feel sad, that's just life. You can't phrase it in any way. If I'm going to tell you 2 + 2 isn't 5, there's no nice way for me to put it. I don't have to call you an idiot. Oh, you're a stunt. You're a fucking moron. I don't have to do that. But me saying 2 + 2 isn't 5, that's going to make you. So how do I tell you? There's always going to be levels, and what I find, especially on the widest,
no, but
it's always about the victims and the feelings. That's why. But yeah.
Yeah, but the feeling was fine. I explained in the story that she was less sad after we had discussed about it. So there was no problem there. You're seeing issues. You even brought up later on that was like, oh, you should forgive her and you have issues with your mom. And it's like, no, that was a 10-minute conversation out of 40 years of my life. Like, that was not a big deal at all.
Is it possible there are that you're not? I'm not saying I'm true. Mm-hmm. You're saying that you had a conversation with her and in the end you both walked away peaceful. And I'm saying, well, yes, that's plausible, but did the situation get resolved, or have you?
Oh no, yeah, the situation was totally resolved.
That's a difficult thing to do, because you said from what you said to her, like she felt from my perspective, like again, a lot of it is from my personal experience and what I'm.
Well, before you continue, also this could be an issue of, like you said, I'm taking what you're saying wrong. That this could be an issue of you heard my story and we're taking what I was saying wrong. We are we are from different countries and we do have different,
way. It's defensive about your mum. I've been defensive. I'm a bit more aggressive in my text, all these words. Again, when you video, sometimes video creators don't realize how many words they say in a minute. But when I type a comment, holy shit, what's this wall of text all about, bro? You've got issues. I'm like, dude, you've just spent 15 minutes talking. How many words do you imagine you've used? If I'm going to talk about a segment, if I want to explain a cat, cat's a 3-letter word, right? Can you explain or describe a cat in 3 letters?
Yeah, but that wasn't my issue at all. That's not I think you're looking at the wrong issue here. I think my issue is you took a little piece of my video and went into some deep things that look, even if you were true and it was true, that's something personal. Like, that's nothing that you shouldn't even. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to do something personal with me? Like, I don't know you, dude.
So you've got the breadcrumbs that I'm now following. Like I said, when she said to you, I haven't raised you, right? I heard her admitting herself to you in how she believes she had failed you. And she, from my perspective, totally impartial, not knowing either of you. This is why I don't want you to waste time saying you know your mum, but that's a stupid point. Obviously you do. But I'm saying from my perspective, simply hearing that, I'm like, well, if she did feel she was wrong, and she does genuinely want to apologize and admit as her own, she's come to this realization, and you say, oh, no, you did nothing wrong, how would that affect her? Like, if she'd murdered someone and she knows she's murdered them and it was definitely murder, you know, oh, no, it's definitely an act.
I think he took it.
She'd be like, well, no, I know I did something. So from my perspective, if she feels that way, you're kind of denying her feelings by saying, no, mum, you were great and you've got nothing to apologize for.
But she wasn't apologizing. She didn't apologize at all. Her saying she raised me wrong wasn't an apology. It was a discovery to herself that, oh shit, my son's not Christian. I fucked up. She wasn't apologizing to me about it.
You don't see it as an.
Yeah, but she didn't. But she didn't fuck up. She actually did a good job and realized that later and came to me and told me, "No, you're right. I didn't fuck up."
Because you spun it in a way that made her the good guy.
I didn't spin it in any way. Nobody was a good guy. What? when was she a good guy in that story? She was. It was just normal.
Yeah, I'm okay. When I say it's like it goes back, you again. It's always got to be extreme. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to have abused you. She doesn't have to have beaten you every day. You're alive, so obviously she didn't starve you to death as a child. That's not necessarily doing a great job. You understand what I mean? She made sure you went to school. That's not necessarily taking care of your education. Do you understand what I mean? So there are basic things as a parent. You're like, well, she did this. You keep telling me about things that she did.
Yeah, but why? But why would her raising me to not be a blind sheep? Why is that her raising me wrong?
What do you mean?
That was the whole point I gave her, was she thought she messed up because I wasn't Christian, but I was correcting her and saying, no, you didn't mess up. You taught me not to be a blind sheep and to question things and make sure before I follow something. And she agreed after that. She was like, yeah, that is a good trait. So she did do, that's a more important trait than her raising me Christian, and realized, wait, I taught him things that are more important than the things I thought I fucked up on.
Breaking up.
Am I breaking up? Yeah, you breaking up a little too, but I can still make out what you're saying.
You say blind faith, I can understand. I'm not speaking on their behalf, but I could understand how someone would feel insulted by it. That's why I use words like berate and condescending, because you're calling her blind. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, but that's me explaining the story to you. I didn't say that to her face, obviously. And it wasn't me explaining to my mom anything about her. I was just explaining to her my beliefs, how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, Mom, this is how I feel about this.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was telling you how she was feeling. So would she be right then to tell you, no, son, you're wrong?
Would she be right? I don't know. It doesn't really matter who's right or wrong. She didn't do that. I mean,
well, why doesn't it matter who's right or wrong? Then what's the point then?
It doesn't matter who's right or wrong, because that's not what the conversation was about.
Somebody is wrong.
Right.
There is an issue. Now either you're both right or you're both wrong, or one of you is right, one of you is wrong. But it's not right. It's really weird. It's like people get on conversations online, and then as soon as they lost it wasn't about wing anyway. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. So why are we having this conversation? It's either about what is and what isn't.
Well, we're having this conversation because you are definitely wrong, and you made things up the whole time. From the little bit that I said, you made up a whole story that wasn't true.
Your presupposition, well, I'm wrong and I can't know anything because I wasn't there. But again, what I'm saying to you is everything that you're saying. No,
you can make them. I'm not saying that you're wrong because you weren't there. You're wrong because you're guessing badly. You could have guessed correctly and been 100% right and guessed it, and I would have been like, wow, how did you guess all that? But you didn't do that.
You tell me.
Would I tell you? Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Because you to me said things about you, and I've made things that are none of my business, and the conversation before was none of my business, which to me is relevant parts of the it's like if somebody hit you and you said, well, we were talking and I said something and then he hit me, and I go, well, what did you say? And you're, that's none of your business. It would be weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were having a conversation and she said, God will make a way or help us in the future, and you said, Mum, I really got to tell you, man, I'm not down.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, what we were talking about is relevant and important. That can't then.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
It wasn't.
Not. Why would it be? Why would it be relevant?
Because it leads to, like I was saying to you, it leads to the tone. Whatever it led her to say that, like you said.
She says that all the time. She's a Christian. Do you not know Christians? Christians say shit like that all the time.
In that case, why has you not told her before? Why is it that?
Oh, because I didn't want to make her sad. I was a kid. I had matured at that point to an adult and said, you know what? It's better for my mom to know the truth about me than, to make her sad for now, and then she'll get over it, but at least she knows the truth about me. I had matured into a man at that point, and I was like, you know what? My mom's always been good to me. She's cool. Why am I hiding this from her? I should let her know who I am,
You're not really... My mum was always good to me too, brother. I can tell you the fancy. She taught me how to darn my socks, put labels in my jacket, how to cook, how to iron it. Done a wonderful job in many ways, and in many ways she's done a fucking crap.
Yeah,
and she is.
But do you lie to her? Do you lie to her? Do you are you hiding things from her? Yeah, exactly. But there was a point in your life where you realized I probably shouldn't hide things from my mom, right? That I don't need to anymore. Maybe when you were a kid, maybe you were hiding stuff. You were scared of repercussions.
At no point was her sadness my concern.
Really? You don't care that your mom gets sad?
sad. No, why would I?
Oh,
How
damn.
can I control her feelings?
That sounds highly empathetic.
If my
To,
dad
not
if my dad
empathetic to me.
died, and I know telling her would make her feel sad, should I not tell her my dad's dead? Her husband, because it will make her feel sad. No, of course I've got to tell her.
Yeah, well,
feel sad anyway,
do you understand the concept that human beings do that though? Like sometimes parents kind of like wait to tell their kids when their pet died. Sometimes, you know, it happens.
It's weakness.
Yeah, well, I was a kid. Sometimes kids are weak. Who gives a shit? I grew up into an adult, and then I wasn't weak.
Wrong, and in a minute they will say kids are weak. I said, well, I'm right then.
What? But you never at once brought up a point of me being a kid. Like you were just talking about at the moment.
I'm correct.
Oh my god, dude, you are a fucking weirdo. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it to insult you. It's honest truth to me, man. You're very strange.
Weakness. And you say I was a child. Children are weak. How am I wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just weird. Why even bring that up then? We know what children are like. Like what? We know children don't make proper decisions, you know? And we know that people don't grow up till like 22, 23, and that's when they start making proper decisions.
Right. But again, if your mom had raised you right, you wouldn't be waiting till 23 to tell us.
Really? No, I disagree with you on that. I don't disagree with you.
You can disagree. Okay. I'll accept that you disagree.
Right.
But I do not accept I'm wrong. Okay? You understand the difference?
You're not wrong in your own views, but that's right. But that's not objective. That is 100% a subjective thing you said, and you could be right to your own views, and you could be wrong to other people's views because it is subjective.
Yeah, but it either is or isn't wrong.
It's a very subjective thing. I mean, who's to say?
Yeah.
There's no authority on that. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way to say. Yeah. So really discussing whether that's right, who's right or who's wrong in that aspect is 100% useless. There's no objective fact to that. So
no, I don't. I take issue with those that really like that's useless and irrelevant. I'm like the question: are we sure it is? I mean, are you convinced it's irrelevant, or would you like to render it into irrelevant?
No, it's irrelevant. Who cares? Like, why is that raising your kid wrong to not explain to them that, hey, just tell me the truth, and even if it's gonna make me sad, it might have never even crossed her mind. So then it's not wrong if it never crossed her mind. She just didn't think about it. Those are the things you're not thinking about.
You're overly thinking. No, but I'm talking about you.
Me? I don't find that to be wrong. I just find that it's being something that, maybe people just don't think about telling their kids. And even if they don't tell their kids, I don't find it to be raising your kid wrong. That's such a minute thing. It's a minutia. Who cares?
Inappropriate.
It's inappropriate?
What is inappropriate? What is
I don't understand. How did we get to inappropriateness?
Wrong is some people appropriate. I don't know if that's all wrong.
Hold on, your mic's getting worse. I don't know if you're getting further away from your phone because you're getting lower and lower and cutting out more.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's a little better.
What is inappropriate? People can tell me what is good and what is bad, but they then use this word inappropriate or that personal, and it's like, it's either good or bad. Like I said, I wasn't waking up this morning going, let me go and shit on somebody's mom. You mentioned your, and the things that you said intrigued me. And again, like you said, some of the things, I filled in some blanks of things you have said as not factual truth, but just my hypothetical. I know, but why didn't you say that from the beginning? Why did you phrase it as if you were speaking truth? Why didn't you just say from the beginning, these are my guesses, I know I could be wrong, but I'm guessing did this happen, or did you feel it was like this? You didn't phrase it that way. I'll give you some likes on the YouTube and some likes on the Twitters and appreciations when you yeah, that's like cool. That's cool. But do you understand that what I'm saying is that the way you phrased it, like even afterwards you were saying, oh, I was just asking some questions, but I read those out loud on the stream. They weren't questions. You were phrasing them as they were statements of facts. You even said that I was textbook
what, mad at God or something? Oh, your life wasn't perfect, so God doesn't exist. What? Like, that's not. I explained in the video how I slowly started leaving God, just questioning it and stuff.
Okay, there were questions, and then there was elaborations as to why they were questions or what would be answered. Take the what is proof of God? You say there is no evidence. And then I ask you, what is evidence? You say I was solid and stuff and more stuff. I said, well, what? Then you flip it back on me. Well, what do you? Well,
yeah, because
when did we decide that I clearly believe in God? We haven't, but you've assumed that. When did we decide?
No, I actually asked you both. I actually said, what religion are you? I actually asked you both, like, what would be the evidence of you believing something and not?
In a neutral context, people apply their beliefs onto it. Like I said to you, I go to Christian pages and ask them questions. They say, why are you here, atheist? I go to atheist pages and ask questions. They say, why are you here, Christian trot? I'm just a guy asking questions. I know I've got poor typing skills and communication skills. Maybe that's it. Maybe
that could be a problem. It seems like it is, because a lot of times you state things, it doesn't seem like you think you're asking a question, but a lot of times you state it as a statement of fact, and it's like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is he getting this?
From what I've seen in the chat, all I've seen is lol, moron, brainwash. I mean, these doesn't seem to be, you know what I mean? Like I was saying to you, so those don't seem the avenues where people are actually addressing the thing. I said, oh, he's an idiot, he's brainwashed. Lol, where did you find this guy? Block. Oh, you're going to talk about, I don't mind them talking about me. I say things in public.
Right.
I show my face. It's my real name. It's not some, fake anime avatar and all that.
Right. No, yeah, I know who you are. I mean, once I saw that your name was Daz, I was like, oh, I know who this guy is. I know who you are.
Darren or Daz for sure. However you want.
I like Daz. That's actually sounds cool. I like that name.
I love it. It's got a personal when you put it.
But
like I said, so it's not me hiding, but then I get when I talk about the race things on the AIO, you're just a fake black guy using the black. So what is it that people want me to do? When I make the videos, they shut down my YouTube channel, which is now why I'm on this one, has no videos. So they shut. So what do you do? How am I going to get you to come here? No, I talk where you are. I talk on AIU's page. I talk on your page.
Right.
I was Billy. Yeah, on my. I would talk to. I talk to what live life 5 or 4, and the short text and view. What was?
But back to the thing you were saying about evidence of God. I answered that question. I said there. No, I don't know what an evidence of God is, because I don't know what a God is. I don't know what a God consists of.
How can you say you don't have evidence?
Because I don't know what it consists of. Even if the evidence was in my face, I wouldn't be able to know what it is.
But those are two different statements.
No, they're not. If I can't perceive the evidence, I don't have evidence.
Yeah. If I ask you, when I ask you, what would you consider evidence? Later on, you ask me, well, what do you consider? Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know. I can honestly tell you here, I don't know what evidence of God would be, because I have no idea what it looks like.
Right.
So I can't definitively say I have no evidence, because I don't know what to look.
No, you're wrong. You have bad perspective. Let's say there's a murder scene. Hold on. Let me explain to you how.
So I can be corrected. I would rather say these things and you correct me than keep them in my head or not say them because someone's going to call me an idiot online. So please, I'm listening.
Okay. So let's say you go into a crime scene and you're looking for evidence of a murder, right? There was a murder. You're looking for the evidence. You don't see the evidence because you don't have a black light. And there's semen there, but you can't see the semen because you don't have a black light. You do not have the evidence. Whether you could, if you can't see it and you can't perceive it, you don't have the evidence.
Bad analogy. I know what semen is, so I can invent tools to detect.
No, yeah, but you don't even know the semen is there for you to be like, oh, let me make something to see the semen, because you don't even know it's there. You never even think of it. You don't have the evidence. The evidence could be right in your face, but if you can't perceive it, you don't have the evidence.
Because you cannot say, if you cannot say what evidence is, you can't say what it's not.
Yeah, but you still don't have it. If you can't say what it is, you don't have it.
No, I understand the difference. You don't have evidence, yes?
Yeah.
But it's not that, well, there's no evidence. Those are two different statements.
Yeah, I didn't say there's no evidence. I just said we don't have the evidence. I never said that there's no evidence of God. This is what it is. It is a problem. Now I understand. Like you said earlier when we first started talking in here, makes total sense. The problem is an issue of communication. We understand each other's words differently. When I'm saying there is no evidence, I'm saying there's no evidence for me to perceive. There's no perceived evidence. You know what I'm saying?
You know that.
How do I know that? Because I haven't perceived any evidence. So there's no perceived evidence so far. When there is an evidence that I can perceive, then we change. This is how science works. When we find something different, then we start changing our minds toward that different things. Just like if there was more evidence on something to be true more than the evidence there is for evolution, that shows evolution's not right, and that this thing is more right because there's more evidence of it, then we're going to start shifting from evolution to the other thing because there's more evidence to the other thing, you know?
Evolution. Because you said the proof of evolution. What's that got to do with the...
Oh, I'm just talking about how evidence works and how beliefs work. How when you have evidence of one thing, you believe in that, but as there's more evidence contradicting that, it trumps that evidence, and you're like, oh wait, this might be more right. So you move over to that. You don't ever believe... That's how science works. You don't believe things fully unless you can fully prove it, which is extremely difficult. Most of the times what you do is you compile enough evidence to form a conclusion, and you believe that conclusion until there is enough evidence to show you a different conclusion.
So what would you consider evidence?
I'd have to see it to know. How would I don't even know what a God is. Is it something physical?
If you don't know,
is it a liquid? Is it a solid? What is it?
What to look for. You are asking questions, so therefore you don't know what to look for. You haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
You could have seen God a few times today.
But you know what I can do is when someone comes to me and says, hey, God exists, he's staring at us from up there, I could say, okay, can you show me evidence of this? And if they cannot, why would I believe them?
What is your problem?
I mean, they'd have to show me for me to know.
Your problem is...
Hold on. Did you cut out or did you stop talking?
What is your problem with him?
What is my problem with what?
What is your problem with him staring at me?
Oh, I don't have a problem with him staring at me. I don't even care. I don't even believe he is, so why would it be a problem?
So you don't need evidence because you believe he's not.
Well, I mean, if somebody wants me to believe what they are saying, they have to show me the evidence for it. Until then, I don't care.
And what?
I don't fear that Buddha is waiting to, in the afterlife to reincarnate me into a cockroach.
You mentioned
you know what I'm saying?
You go into this weird, your mum is a dog. No, if God was ability to talk through animals, and a dog talk to you, would you accept that as, would you think someone slipped drugs? Well, I said drugs, you went, oh, that's very specific. I'm just giving
No, I understand that, and I told you I've done LSD before, so I know I would, but I mean, in the end, no, of course not, because a dog talking to you doesn't mean God in any way, even if it's telling you it's God. How do you know it does?
I don't. Listen. I'm not arguing. Again, let me say. I'm not arguing from an opposite.
No, I understand, but the argument is whether it is or isn't, and even the middle says it's not.
Another atheist. Yeah, I have never really. Right, let me say from. Whenever I've been around, obviously, I'm patron for that over. It gets more money than me than any church. All right, I do get food bank help from all time spent watching AIU videos. When I see atheists talking and they're banging on the back, well, God hates gays and God is mean to women. That had nothing to do with why I was questioning. Yeah. And when it comes to all this other stuff, it wasn't like, well, you haven't shown me evidence. It was more about the people than this thing. And my question has always been and remains truly to myself, because again, it's more about me and me, like you said, me dealing with my right. I have
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can admit that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's made me question things that I have in my whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which have only, I'm 40, I'm 42, I was 42 in January.
Okay, you're 3 years older than me.
Right. And there's only things I'm learning 18 months that are life.
Oh, really?
Yeah?
Okay.
And I've been surrounded by Christians,
Mm-hmm.
my grandparents, my parents to this day.
Right.
So it was never angry at him or there isn't. I've always thought, because of my was I wouldn't understand it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I hear atheists, and they're like, seems like they don't want to believe because they find this really. Well, how would the world be? Do you think a human brain could fully handle? Could God even tell? You mean if he was that powerful? I'm not saying he doesn't exist, but if he was to create the earth, the existence of the universe, I don't think the human brain could even understand the blueprint.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. I know I'm gonna tell you a little story real quick because I totally understand what you're saying and I've been through this before. So my big thing of why I stopped believing Christianity was because it seemed too human. It didn't make sense to me. I always thought if there was a God, that God we wouldn't even communicate with us, and even if it did, we wouldn't even know it was doing it. You know what I'm saying? It'd be something so above our level and so above our understanding, it wouldn't be anything that we could possibly conceive. You know what I'm saying? If it existed. And even still, my thing with atheism is a lot of people will say, I'm agnostic or I'm this and that. It's all the same thing. If you don't have an active belief in it, you don't believe it. I'm not an anti-theist. I'm not a person who completely says there's no such thing as a God. In fact, what I say is it doesn't matter if there's a God because we would have we never in the millions and millions of years throughout evolution or whatever we go through, we will never understand what that being is because we are a tiny little thing to this huge thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like a flea understanding, what a mountain is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So from that, see a lot of them are all LGBT this and women and feminism, boo, I don't like a male and I'm not going to be subservient to no man. None of that is really proves God doesn't exist. Boo, I don't like religion, I don't get out of marriage. How does that prove? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I ask the question on both sides, I'm just asking questions. I seriously couldn't tell you now of prove God, but I'd be stuttering myself. But that doesn't mean he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what we can do, this is what I would say to you, at least for your form of questioning or what might help you in questioning things or figuring things out, is that with the gods that are perceived by humans, that humans say exist, like, if we want to go through the Christian God, the Jewish God, the Islamic God, whatever it is the more specific information on that God, the more likely it's not real. And that leads you to be able to question it. We cannot question if a God exists in general because, that's so many possibilities there. We have no idea. But when it comes to a specific God, the more specific that God is, the more you can question that God and the more you can find contradictions and understand that, wait, this God doesn't exist. And you got one more down,
But is he more recognizable? I mean, we know of the Pac-Man film and sort of pink invisible elephant. Well, those sound like things I could understand.
Right.
So you've already failed the test because I understand what pink is. It's a color, and I understand what an elephant is.
Yeah, exactly.
If I saw a pink elephant, I wouldn't think it was God. I just think it was a pink elephant.
Yeah, exactly.
No. You keep talking, and they keep talking to me in these very grounded terms about things that don't seem to be grounded. And that's where I get, well, how can it exist? I said, well, how is it? Ray comfort might be right. Is it beyond? Is it beyond our understanding? Like I said, I was just rewatching because I've watched it. You was P. Asked him and said, well, how will you know? And he sort of changed. He does sort of change his answer. Well, I know that. No, you're right. I wouldn't say I know because the thing is you could demonstrate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I tell I know plastic melts. Something doesn't melt when it burns, and I burn it. You'd be like, okay, cool. I would definitely know that, and I'd be up for proving it. When you say, well, it's not that I know, you haven't presented evidence. You don't. Right. oh, I know they believe in things that are real. That's condescending, and whether you intend it to be, and it's not necessarily the worst kind. Like I said, when you talk about fear, blindly following,
Mm-hmm.
blind, that's not the worst kind of condescension. But you are calling them, thinkers at the very least.
I mean,
Or
a
at
lot
least,
of it is. A lot of people are stuck in cult mentality. It happens. Or sometimes you're just raised in something and you're just so stubborn that you don't want to change it. That's how I feel about my mom. I think my mom's at a point where she doesn't really fully believe, but she won't stop believing because she's stuck in it. She's older. Yeah, I mean, my mom's almost 80 years old. She's an old lady. She's not going to care about changing her views in the world now, Like, she's past that point. But, she's come to me about the stuff I discuss and say, hey, like, I like what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, it's not like she's rejecting the things I'm saying because she's Christian, and it's against that stuff. She's looking at it and saying, those are, reasonable things you're saying,
If you say that, I can believe you. And here's, if from sort of biblical birth and stuff, where it comes down from God and breathes through the mum, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's people are going against. Would it say the likely the opposite would happen? If you're going from a God system of man, woman, child, would the opposite system be child, woman, man? Basic, right? If I then say to you, kids are taught things, and parents are, if there's more divorce homes, there's single moms being raised, the kids get the homework, the kids get all this, the kids come home to mum like you did, they're a bunch of convince them and then turn to mum, and then she says, oh, that sounds believable. Well, that must be because I'm sending this to school I'm sending you to, so I have good faith in them. And she's now listening to you, the lessons that you're getting from the teacher, not listening to her husband who's getting his lessons from God and passing them on to you. I'm not saying your mum did that. I'm not see that possibility. If we're saying that the God is the one side and the bad would be the...
No, I hear you. I mean, in my case, it was kind of unique. I see what you're saying. And I know in most cases, things like that do happen. It's like, but like I was saying with my parents, they weren't extremely Christian. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't really push Christian values on us that hard. They more pushed their own values on us, and they weren't all Christian values. It was just things like, just be good to people, be nice to people, accept people for who they are and stuff like that,
I'll pause you there. You said you were happy your parents got divorced, but arguing on the and that they need.
At the time, I still am. My parents were definitely better apart than together.
No, I mean saying
Okay.
You said, it wasn't like a later feeling. You were saying that you would already experience. So you clearly were experiencing this negative, and you were glad in some way.
Right.
So from that sense, then, is there any way that you have less of a because you're up to them for not being good?
Wait,
because they want the example. I mean, if he said you say words forced to go to, I mean, I don't want to be forced like dragged there kicking and screaming, but I generally know what you mean. But if they were the Christians, they would have been going as a family. They wouldn't have given you the option not to go, but they wouldn't have been forcing. You would have understood it as a thing to do.
Oh yeah, that's true. Possibly.
Just if you didn't go to church, you wouldn't wake up every morning dressed up ready to go to church.
Right. But, I mean, we did go to church. We just didn't go a lot. But me and my brother always disliked it, and we always found it super boring, and we would rather stay home and play video games.
No, understandable.
Yeah.
That's just kids being kids.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, when you're around family more, when you're seeing them, if from the religious perspective, your father is supposed to be there in here, leading, and you can't get in your... You then go in because when I say about your mum, you do get very different. No, she acknowledge all the basic generic mum stuff to do, and maybe more. But is there also that's what caused the divide? Because that seemed to be the evidence. Because if they were together, you wouldn't have been questioning it. They wouldn't have been arguing, or they would have overcome what they were arguing about. see again, if I now ask you what they were arguing about, you probably tell me that's too personal.
Yeah, and it does, and in truth,
relevant to why they are. I mean, why if they're married? Why is the married couple? And they're, you understand? These are
but that can be explained without knowing the context or needing even the context. It was a stressful life for them. They worked hard 24/7. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit falls apart. I've been in relationships that just fall apart over time, and we break up.
No. Lie. Relationships don't just fall apart.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do. I don't agree with you on that. I don't consider that a lie.
Listen,
don't agree with you.
Either founded on faulty foundations or they're not.
The what? Say that again?
They're founded on faulty foundations. If you meet some chick in a club, bang her in the toilet, 2 weeks later she texts you, tells you she's pregnant, and you decide to marry her, that ain't you starting off on the right.
Oh yeah, that happens too. I'm just saying that there's two ways for that.
I'm not saying that to your parents. When that happens, that's your relationship not getting up on the right.
Oh yeah, that happens. Sure.
It's going to be off on that faulty foundation. So whatever, even though your parents were married and in the home and going to, they were still arguing. So clearly there was an issue there. And look, I don't want to get too personal. No,
I hear you. And there was an issue there, but it doesn't always have to be an issue of how it starts. It could just be an issue that people are together for a long time and then realize they have different views of where they want to go in life and what they want to do with their lives. And where they want to be, and then they fall apart. They're not friends anymore. They annoy each other now, because they see each other differently now. I've been in relationships like that. I've been in 8-year relationships where towards the end, we just became more like roommates than anything. And we were like, you know what? Are we in love anymore? And then, no, you want to break up? All right. Yeah, maybe that's a better idea.
Have you considered you were never in love?
Depends on your definition of what love is. I mean, do you believe love to be forever? Or is it something that you feel and can go away? Then yes, I do.
That my next question would be, what would you consider love? You say you were in love and then the love died. Well, that sounds a bit weird, mate.
Why? I don't know why it sounds weird to you. You're a 43-year-old man. That shouldn't sound weird to you at all.
No, why should it die? No, but I can accept to you. I will say to you, I thought I was in love, but I wasn't. And I've had 6-year relationships where I thought we were in love and then it just died. And I have realized since then over time that I wasn't in love.
Is that do you see some love as being something that is only can be forever and that's it?
I would imagine so, yeah.
So yeah, we have different definitions of love then. I don't think that's what love is. I don't think there is a such thing as that. I don't think there is a such thing as that. I don't think it exists.
Then we have to be very clear on the subject because
that's why I said right away. I think we have different definitions because like right away for you to say that it, yeah.
Understand more. Like one of my longest ones, I wasn't in love with. I was, excuse me, from the very first day I met her. One of the first things I said to her when eventually all the guys that were thirsting over her, left her 5 minutes to me because I wasn't. One of the first things I'd never go out with her. And I ended up with her for I'm pretty sure that was. I'm pretty sure at the time. I'm pretty sure at the time I was super happy. I had my moments. We had our ups and downs. I walked around like a pro. I've got all this girl that all these girls want. All these guys. How do you get this girl? All these. All right, but I wasn't in love. Now I'm older. Not even now. Like yesterday, after and late after it ended, because I said it just died out of nothing. But never. She was mad that I rejected. She vowed to. She threw the pussy in my face. I became addicted to it, and there it was.
Yeah, that could happen.
Then as I look back over the relationship, she's out every weekend with this sugar daddy and that.
Oh yeah.
Coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning.
But see, that's where what you said earlier, where it started from a bad foundation.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But in the middle of it, if you'd have asked me about it, I'd say I love her ground, but I'm bad for her.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that happens too. You can, look, at least from my perspective, you could fall in love and you can fall out of love. But also, you can also think you're in love and then realize later on that you were never in love. I've been through both. I've been through both of those.
Is that not the same thing?
No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
How is it different?
I don't know. When you're in love, you could totally feel it. You know that you're in love with that person. You know, there's a spiritual. It's hard to say spiritual, but there's a connection that you feel.
No, I felt like I was in love. I wasn't. Sometimes you feel scared. There's nothing to feel scared about, right?
Yeah, but have you ever felt in love? And have you? I got a question for you. Have you ever been in love?
Hold on. You walk around your house and you suddenly feel scared. Nothing's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You just suddenly feel nothing's attacking you. You suddenly look over your shoulder. There's nothing there.
Right.
So what are feelings? Feelings are wrong. You hear a rustle in the bushes. Is it one rabbit or is it a lion?
I understand that. I get you with that. I get you in that argument. But let me ask you something. Have you ever been in love?
No.
Then how do you know that you can't be in love and fall out of it if you've never experienced that?
I wouldn't imagine you can fall out of love.
Yeah, but that's an imagination. You just said you wouldn't imagine that, but you wouldn't know. You've never been in love to even know it's forever.
Was as good as strong and different. I understand you can be in love. I can understand. That's what I was saying. I can understand you being addicted, but I wouldn't call that love. I can understand you. I said the lustful addiction, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose.
But what if it's not a lustful addiction? Then what is it?
You know what I mean? If you look at a lot of guys, they won't end a relationship until they've got number two on the side because they don't want to be alone.
Right.
So are they in love or do they simply want companionship?
Oh yeah.
Some people need to get married because why did you get married? I needed a companion. Why?
Right. In that case, yes. But what if it's not that?
I see more cases of the former than this.
Oh yeah, but I mean, just because it's rare doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not an argument against it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It exists, but it's extremely rare.
Oh yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you there. I wasn't saying it was something normal. Yeah, I wasn't saying it was something plentiful. Of course, it's rare. Yeah.
You can't love your high school boyfriend and then go out with some different guy at college. You'd marry that guy. You can marry the high sweetheart. You don't have to travel the world and then marry someone at 46.
I mean, maybe people make mistakes. Sometimes people marry the wrong person and think about the other person for the rest of their life.
Love wouldn't make mistakes.
Nah, I disagree with you. Well, no, wait. Love doesn't make mistakes, but people do.
If you put love, would he be banging her in the toilet within 10 minutes?
Maybe.
No.
Love doesn't make mistakes, but people do.
Oh,
People err all the time.
Yeah. But that's it. But it's still wrong.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything about it being right or wrong. I'm just saying it happens. People can be in love and fuck up and fuck other people. It happens. You know, like...
if you were in love, you wouldn't fuck.
I disagree with that. I don't think that happens. I think people make mistakes.
What? But that's just your cop-out. Well, people make...
Yeah.
People make mistakes.
People do make mistakes. People make bad decisions. People deny their feelings even sometimes.
Thank you. Now we're agreeing. People make bad decisions.
Oh yeah, we never disagreed on that.
Broke women, fuck around, the kid, don't know who the dad is, go on Maury, and all we do is shit on the men.
Yeah, of course, that's retarded.
Then we give her benefits and handout, and it's all about, won't somebody think of the bitch? If you thought about the kid, you would have waited till you had a decent man.
Yeah, of course.
You wouldn't be the first guy that liked you and then begging welfare. So let's not talk about what love is. If you didn't care about that,
no, yeah, in that instance, no, of course not. But that's what I'm saying. But I mean, we already came to the conclusion together that if love is for like if there is a case where people actually fall in love and fall out of love, that it would be extremely rare. And love in general is very rare. It's not something you really get. Most people deceive themselves into thinking it is. I agree with you on that. It's not a plentiful thing, you know. Especially when you're younger, right? Because when we're younger, we're full of hormones and emotions, you know?
Absolutely. And if you're then you lack knowledge. And so, yeah, again, if you ask to I would say yes. I would have absolutely told 100% was in love.
Yeah.
Totally meant it. Yeah. But today, I'm capable of telling you it actually didn't. It never, any point in the relationship.
Right, but
never died because. So the question is, existence say no, not just from my personal, but just from the fact that there's more likely people that say they love or believe they love or misappropriate the word love.
Oh yeah, for many times that's going to be the majority of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm just saying that it's not 100% though. There are some times where people just fall out of love. It happens. Right.
Any not always in any subject, bro. We know that.
Right. Let me see. The chat is saying stuff. Lust versus love, they feel the same but are different. I don't agree with that. I think lust is more sexual. Love is not. Yeah. Love is nowhere near as sexual as lust. Lust is more sexual. Love is less sexual.
How is that not love?
How is that? How is what not love?
Where's the love?
I don't even attribute sex with love to me. Like those things are two totally different things.
I'm saying they're banging, they're having sex, and they're procreating, and then they're saying they're in love, which they're not.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah. Love makes fools to kings and kings to fools. That's a good saying. Yeah, true.
They get married and think, oh, getting married will fix it. No, because you started.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't.
Get married afterward. Oh, we live in 2 years and then we got all you.
Right.
You've already told her you don't think she's worth waiting for. Otherwise, you would have waited. Even if she was throwing it in your face, you would have waited because you said, I'm a guy. If she gives you on the first, why is she not going to think you'll take other women on the first? So why would she then not always be looking out for another because you might cheat on her at any day? I know it might sound complex and convoluted to some. Oh, you're hating women. Or plain and simple. If she understands, he will sleep with her within 5 minutes of her showing some cleavage. Some other woman can do it in 3, right?
Yeah, probably.
She ain't the hottest woman in the world. She ain't got the biggest tits. She ain't got the nicest ass. So there's some chick out there. He'll do it with her in 5 minutes. He'll do it with someone else in 3.
I hear you about that, but love isn't about. Is love about physical attraction, you think? I don't think it is.
What I'm talking about when people say they're in love.
Oh yeah, I know, but we're also talking about our own views in it, right? Because I was asking you before if you think love is always forever. Like we're talking about our own views as well. Personally, for me, I don't find love to be physical like that. Like I think it's more with personality and how you connect with that person and stuff like that.
And you will correct them when they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, when I spoke to you about your mom,
right?
If you love, it's gonna sound weird. If you loved your mom, you wouldn't fear her feeling sad. You are really concerned. I don't want to make it. It's not a deliberate. You keep seeing it as.
No. But the problem is, it's such an irrelevant statement because the point was that I was now an adult and I understood those things. That was already understood. Yeah. That's why I didn't understand the way you were putting it to me because it was pretty much an irrelevant statement. Like you're basically stating the obvious. So to me, it didn't seem like you were stating the obvious because I was like, wait, is this guy trying to tell me what I'm doing here? Like it's weird because that's understood in the story. I was a kid and then I became an adult and talked to my mom about it,
Yes. But that was my point.
Yeah, I get your point now, but to me this is what you were saying about how the communication's getting misconstrued because to me it seems like you were saying something else because it was too obvious,
If she'd raised you to question, you could have been asking questions from a childhood. But she didn't raise you, which is why you kept in.
No, but you're taking one instance out of millions of instances where 99% of the time I was questioning things and 1% of the time I wasn't. And you're taking, if she raised you to question things, you would have questioned things 100% of the times instead of that 99% of the time,
Yeah, I'm just going off your one.
Yeah.
This was the quote unquote straw that broke the camel's back. So I'm just trying to know how many straws it took. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't a kind of thing where there was a straw that broke the camel's back. It was just a realization at the moment of telling my mom where I didn't even realize because since I was doing it since I was so young, it didn't even click in my mind that I'm pretending in front of my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like it just was so normal at that point because I've been doing it since I was like 9 years old. So by the time I reached 23, I came to a realization like, oh shit, like in the middle of that conversation, oh shit, you know what? I've been pretending this whole time. Why don't I tell my mom? It's better for her to know the truth, you know? There wasn't really like a straw kind of thing where that built up. I mean, the atheist thing took me a while to become an atheist. That built up. But the thought of not telling my mom, I had never processed that because it was just such a normal thing, you know?
So what do you mean by the atheism then? You sound...
Oh, me questioning the religion I was indoctrinated to, like slowly going through it. Like I probably started, yeah.
So why is she questioning her religion? That would be what she would want. So
I did. I questioned my parents all the time about it. That's part of what I mean when I said I was questioning the religion. My parents would say things like, oh, you know, God parted the river and all this stuff happened. And I would be like, God parted a river? How did he do that? You know, which way did he part it? Like, did he part it horizontally, vertically? Like, how does that work? And they wouldn't know. They wouldn't have an answer for me. And I'm like, that's weird. They totally believe this thing happened, but they have no details on it. Like, you know, and that's where I would slowly start coming together in my mind. Granted, understand that I was 9 years old. Like, these things weren't very easy to, like, you know, it was complex and took a long time for me to, like, get all these things in my mind, you know. It was something hard to work through.
Why would it be? Something. What? Okay. Did you have other about the other areas of the messages and I know a lot of you probably have these. It's a very like physical, like how was the ball? How did on the day made light and like sun? How day and night? Those kind of questions.
Well, you're cutting off. It's hard for me to hear you.
Sorry. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. You sound better now.
A lot of the times, and those kind of questions. How did you see? There was no sun. How was their day and night? Those are very sort of realistic. What about? Did you ask them about the life lesson questions or the way to be? Or was it mostly? Or how did he turn us into a?
Yeah. It was mostly things that would contradict knowledge from elsewhere, like science things, you know what I'm saying? Like and my dad's big into science too, and watch tons of science. So we'd sit there watching science things, and I'm like, my dad's sitting here watching this, he's learning about this science stuff, he likes it, but it contradicts what's saying things with certain things in the Bible. So I would question him, and he'd be like, you know, just brush it off. He would just explain, oh, that's just the way it is, don't worry, you know. And it's like that made me question it more in my mind. It's like, what? He doesn't even care, like, what the difference is and what, you know.
I can absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
But do you think then, okay, what would you say was the level of them, part of that scientific question? Because that to you, from my perspective, would be them demonstrating to you that they don't wholeheartedly believe, which leads you to question them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because you're saying, well, hang on a second, you're watching this. If you believe in God, science should be irrelevant to you. But yet you're kind of saying, you're kind of...
Yeah. Personally, I feel like they're just too stubborn to let it go, right? Like, that's what it seems like to me. They have a light belief in it, don't even realize it, and they're too stubborn to let it go. Because it's things that have been drilled into their mind for like 40 years, you know?
Mm-hmm. What about them, like you said, they were arguing. You weren't really getting the character. So it's fair to say that in many ways, they weren't Christian.
In many ways, they weren't what?
Christian.
That to me, I don't really care. I've never really gone into whether they're actually Christian or not. You know, it's like the no true Scotsman fallacy. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Whether they were or not, it doesn't matter. All I know is
from your perspective.
Oh, from my perspective. From my perspective, I always saw them as being Christian, even though I saw them as being like Christians. I still saw them as being Christian, regardless.
Yeah, but you say, well, what do you mean by like? You see that you would say not to be fallacious, but they're not true Christians, right?
I wouldn't go by true because, to tell you the truth, when I was young, I didn't have a concept of what a true Christian was. I just had a concept of how hard people were Christians or not, you know? So I had friends whose parents were hardcore Christians, you know, and you have to be this way and you have to that. And then I had other friends who were like, yeah, my parents are Christian, but, you know, we don't really go to church, you know, we don't do grace or anything like that, you know?
So you can tell, so even from your time, you can recognize these quote unquote Christians.
Right.
something was off in various ways and to
Yeah.
varying degrees.
Oh, and the concept that I grew up in a very diverse area, so there was other religions as well. You know what I'm saying? So I knew Muslims, I knew, Buddhists and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Hindus, and it was like, why are these people believe different things? Why don't we believe that? And it's just like, oh, it's just a matter of where you're born. Like, I don't get it.
Right. Well, so then, if I then say to you, if we say to them they're quote unquote Christians, maybe they're more Christian area or something like that, to not to indoctrinate, but that was their belief.
Right.
If you believe they were, to you from your perspective, saying, well, hang on a second, you're kind of cherry picking, you're kind of saying some stuff, but you don't match your words here and there, sort of thing. If you can see that, do you think that would then lead you to question the entire thing? Because they're not setting you in it.
Oh yeah, for some people, yeah. That didn't work that way for me, but for a lot of people, it works that way. This is where I was talking about in the video how David Silverman helped me out, because I didn't even think about things of like nitpicking and this and that until I heard him talk about it. Him and Devin talk about it when I first found Devin at the beginning, when he first started his channel. I didn't even think about those things because I didn't know many atheists. I didn't know how atheists argued points and stuff like that. I didn't know any of that stuff. This was just me like trying to figure things out, as I got older.
They're arguing the wrong point.
Mm-hmm.
Are atheists arguing the wrong point?
Are atheists arguing? No, I don't think so. I think they're arguing the point of not having the burden of proof. Which I think is the proper way to do things if you want to do things accurately. Anybody who makes a claim needs to back up their claim, right? We can't sit here and waste our time trying to prove or disprove every single claim. So anybody who comes with a claim, they have to prove their own claims. We don't have time for that other shit,
If the lessons are why do you need
if the lessons are good, why do we need the religion? It works the same way. Like you're saying, if the lessons were good, why do we need proof? Is that what you're saying? Or did I hear you wrong? Yeah, okay. But if the lessons are good, why do we need religion? That's also a question as well. Like you can have those. There's lessons I was taught that I didn't need religion to teach me those lessons. So why can't we have those same lessons without the religion?
Well, it depends what those lessons are in the frame of which.
Let's pick one of the 10 commandments, right? Thou shalt not steal. Like, do we need religion to tell us that?
No, but what if it is religion that's telling us?
Are you saying, like, what if it's true that it is a God that's telling us that? Is that what you're asking?
We call it religion, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. I'm going to say, for example, I'm going to use, like, we call it religion. These guidelines, we say, okay, don't steal, right? Okay, people will say, oh, I don't believe the Bible, it's a load of fiction written by as well as ages. You know. But yet they will say, well, the Bible says don't steal. I said, well, is that gibberish?
No, yeah, I agree with you.
Written by Sandwell that we should discard.
Right.
Because it was written decades ago, we should ignore that.
No, but you can find that same lesson elsewhere as well.
I understand.
But I know, all right, yeah, well, that's me. Sorry,
you're like, hang on a second. Man.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
God first, then there's a God, then I'm.
Yeah.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
When it comes to something that you may not like, that seems to be where the questions start. Oh, you can't have gay sex.
Right.
Let's stop right there, God. God said, have no sex outside of marriage. Two men can't. Marriage is a union between a man and a woman. Family. Everything else. So if there's no sex outside of marriage, then gay sex isn't a thing because there's no gay marriage.
Right.
Gay sex doesn't result in babies, therefore it's biologically non-reproductive, therefore it's useless. But if you want to be gay and it is a choice, then you say, no, I don't like that. That doesn't suit me. You understand? But I'm saying, well, you can't marry a man. There's no marriage.
What?
You plug it into a socket.
You mean according to religion? I mean,
no, according to reality.
What? You can't marry a man? I disagree with you 100%. You definitely can. You can marry anything. You can marry a rock. Like,
no.
yes, you can. What is the statute of marriage then? What are the rules of it?
That leads to a family is
Yeah, you can have a family with two men
no.
can have a
Why
family. You can take a family. You can adopt a family.
No,
You can.
that's the issue there.
Why is that an issue?
Pause you. If I say to you,
Uh-huh.
a family is a man and woman married and having birth and then having children.
Well, I would disagree with you.
How exactly? You would disagree with me. Why? Because you want to do things the way you want to.
No, I disagree with you because it's been fact, and we can go to the animal kingdom and find families that are man, woman, 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 or man, man, woman, 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 woman. You know.
I'm talking about animals, bro.
Yeah, well, what's it? We are animals, aren't we?
Let's stick on topic. Well, why we talk about insects? But let's talk about.
Yeah, but we are animals to a certain extent, and the rules we've made along the way doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it's supposed to be, you know.
Animals, there's a lion and a lioness. They got two different names and two different. Ain't no husband and husband. There ain't no wife and wife. Ain't no lion and lion or lioness and lioness. Lion and lioness.
Well, we can go to penguins. They pick life mates. And they tend to pick gay. There's ones where they've picked gay ones too and adopted fucking baby penguins. I mean,
finding the and there will always be exceptions because hashtag not all and not the.
Yeah, of course. That's why we can't be totally sure that that's exactly what a family is. It depends on the connection between the people. That's what makes the family is the connection.
True. Anything else is a bastardization of. It's why you're called a bastard. I'm a bastard. Why? Because I'm a child born out of.
Oh.
That's what the term means.
No, yeah, I know that.
Right. So I'm sorry, sir. We're not going to take this back because I don't like the word bastard. I'm as good as you. What? Just because your parents were married, don't make you better than me. Fuck you. I don't like the word bastard. You can't use.
Oh no, I hear you, but I mean, but that's man-made things. We're talking about what is real or not.
Dude, a man marries a mate. He protects her for life.
Like, what makes the difference between a bastard and a person who is made by?
And not in these women's lives. And your kids grow up to resent, and your mums are raising them to hate men because you don't need no man. I'm an independent woman.
Sometimes, not always. Single moms don't always do that.
No, son.
What?
Never.
I wouldn't even really call my mom a single mom for long. My parents got divorced when I was a teenager, so it was like 4 or 5 years of her being a single mom till I was an adult and could take care of myself.
That's been like 30 years. So you were developed. It was in the home. Did they separation? You used to being in the house.
Oh yeah, but I was raised by two parents I was raised by two parents till I reached my teens, you know.
No, it's a difference. You weren't raised in a family. You're raised by two parents.
No, I was raised in a family. My parents were married before I was born. I'm not a bastard.
No.
Both me and my brother. They had my brother. 5 years later, they had me, but they were married for both of us the whole time.
But that will go back to the foundation. Listen, that will go back to the foundation when she got married. Is that why they got married? These are the kind of things that you.
No, they were married way before. Oh no, I hear you. No, they were married way before me and my brother were conceived. Yeah. They were already married and citizens of the United States. You know, they met each other. They got married. They became citizens together, and then they had kids. You know.
Right. So they seem to have some sort of foundational, like you said, it made sense to them. So from my perspective, it should make sense to you, right?
Right.
If that's how they, if again, as good as a job they did, obviously you're still alive. Obviously you went to school, everything. We can put these aside. No one's insulting individuals.
Right.
Being clear. If they had done a good job, you'd be like them. They would have been. They were married. They were setting that example. You would grow up and be married because you would see it. You would understand how the world worked. You wouldn't have to go outside to figure out all this. But I've got this baby mother over here and one over here, and no, none of that shit going at them.
I hear you. Yeah.
You'd understand that,
right.
And it would make perfect sense to you, and you wouldn't have to question it because they would have been explaining it by example, by simply living it, not by lecturing you, not by battering you with Bible verses, not by punishing you or shouting at you, simply by being.
Right.
So all the stuff that they did for you is, I'm never going to talk. Yes, my mum fed me, she taught me how to cook, blah blah blah, gave me jobs. Yeah. They've always done fantastic things. Took me ice skating, bought me the things I wanted to. Yeah, none of these things are not true. None of these things, oh, your mum was the worst. None of that's not where we're going either. We are saying there are things that as your child, her child, she won't have told you. There are things that from your perspective you won't know about, and may be unwilling to believe because these things are only going to tarnish your image of your mother. And that's why I said you worship your mother.
No, I don't care about tarnishing the image of my mother. The thing was,
but you were very worried about making her feel. And her sadness that ranks really high for you.
No, but I feel the same about my close friends. I feel the same about my brother. I feel the same about cousins. You know,
about my sadness, everyone's gonna say fuck my feelings.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I feel the same. I don't want to make a friend of mine sad.
No, I understand, but that's what I'm saying. You are caught in the lie that is empathy, because all you want to do is speak your truth, but you're more worried about her feelings than doing the thing that you believe is right, which is why you didn't. You would just say, look, I've got. I'm not trying to upset you, and it's not about trying to upset you, Mum.
No,
I'm not trying to be a dick to you, but this is the truth how I feel.
No, I get that. I get that.
You don't have to agree with it. You can feel in any way you, because you can't make her feel anything. You can't make her feel, oh, great, son, that's the greatest thing. You can't make her do that. And you can't make her feel sad. If she wanted to feel, oh, fun, thank you, I could finally stop pretending myself. I was really worried. You've helped me come out.
But
you can't make her not do that. She's going to respond any way you can. So you can't worry about that.
No, but
that's the problem I keep trying to say to you. Yeah, but I told you. I didn't want her to feel sad. I don't want her to feel sad.
Yeah.
Why do you want me to make my mum feel sad? It's like, no, that you shouldn't be overly concerned about that. You're concerned about the wrong thing.
I disagree. That's empathy. You feel things for people, and your emotions sometimes trump your mind, and it takes a while for you to get your mind to start trumping your emotions. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Empathy.
You can say no all you want. I could say yes all I want.
Empathy. When you do it, you're empathetic, and that says I'm pathetic. Okay?
And that says I'm pathetic? No, empathy and patheticness are two totally different words. They don't come from the same root word.
Thinking about some starving African babies and all these immigrants. You think they give a shit about these immigrants? Oh, I'm so more empathetic.
No, yeah, but that's those people. Those people are virtue signaling. But let's do this. If I have a baby and someone comes and kicks my baby in the head, am I not supposed to feel empathetic to my baby?
No.
Exactly.
Nobody kicked anybody in the head. You were simply speaking the truth. You weren't being mean.
No, I understand, but you made, oh my God, you made an analogy. I was giving you another analogy. Those people don't really feel bad for those African starving babies. You know why? Because they don't have a connection to those things. But when you have a connection to somebody, you grow a personal, empathetic connection with them, especially with your parents, especially with people who are close to you.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. That is exactly why family members aren't on the jury, because of their emotional connection. It's the thing I keep saying that you don't want to hear.
No, I've been saying that from the beginning as well.
You are too close. And you are too emotional. No, that's why I keep saying. No, my mum was perfect. That's why I keep.
I know, but that's an exaggeration. I never said my mum was perfect. Just exaggerating.
You've never met her, okay? Come on, guys. Who knows my mum more than me? This fucking random stranger who I bet.
There's people who know my mom more than me, but definitely not strangers on the internet.
That's a statement to make because you're being defensive about her and you're not addressing the issue, which is your defensiveness about her.
The issue was addressed off the bat in the video. It was addressed. You looked deeper into it and avoided everything that I said in the video. You avoided like 70% of the words I said in the video.
You've got things to do when you're out here worrying about your mum.
No, I'm not worried about my mum at all. That was something that happened 25 years ago.
You know how frightening that is.
What?
Your mum shouldn't even be counting you on. That's what I'm going to teach you.
Oh, man.
How to empty him. What about your dad, bro? Talk about your dad. You had never rated dad.
What about my dad? I never had a talk about like atheism. My dad doesn't really care. Like he doesn't mind that me and my brother believe different things. My oldest brother was in a cult, even
That.
So
that's what I'm saying. That will go to like I was saying to you about good parents and when you find that they rebel. Conservative religious kids will go all punk because their parents were super religious. And the super liberal people will seek the conservatism of religion and some sort of order. Oh, eat what you want for breakfast, go to bed when you want. They will rebel towards structure.
Right.
So if your brother was in a cult, that says to me, well, he kind of got the ideas of being in the religion, but they weren't religious enough. So he went somewhere where the rules were very clear. Like a cult. That makes shitloads of sense to it.
That could be it, but I can't really say too much about my oldest brother. He's my half brother, and he's only my brother through my dad. So, and I don't know too much about his time before he was. I don't know too much about his time before he was in a cult or after. Well, I only know about after because when he was in that when I was probably like 3-4 years old. By the time I was like 6 or 7, he was already out of it.
Right. Again, those, as I said,
and I don't know his mom at all, so I don't know what kind of life he had growing up with his mom. So I don't know.
You're dealing with a dad who has you and has other kids that are not his wife. These are also other issues that you haven't expected have actually affected.
That issue didn't affect me at all.
Or admit them not.
No, that issue didn't affect me. No, it doesn't.
You may not realize it. I'm not saying you're ignoring it.
I'm pretty comfortable on knowing who I am. I know it doesn't bother me for sure.
Say who you are. No, it's not about you. It's about them.
Oh well, they are who they are. They can figure out who they are. Like, what does that have to do with me?
Has everything to do with you because you're a product of them.
I know that, but now I'm 40 years old, and my product of them has been reassessed. And when you get older, you start going back into the lessons and the things you learned from your parents, and you start figuring those things out. I don't know if you've done that, but I did that. I've spent many years moving around trying to find myself, and I found myself years ago, and I'm totally comfortable with who I am. I understand who I am. I understand why I do things. When I make mistakes, I reflect on them and understand why I made those mistakes. And
your parents raised you right. Why do you have to find yourself?
Everybody does. I don't really believe that people don't, because if your parents raised you right, even whether your parents raised you right or not, you're brainwashed. If you have not found yourself, you're brainwashed.
What is finding you?
Finding yourself is understanding who you are, understanding how you come across your...
Sounds psychobabble to me, man.
Well, I'm sorry you find that to be psychobabble, but people go through this all the time. It's a natural progression of growing up.
Feeling an emotion and not making your mum feel sad. So when you're, well, it's like this and that. And what is it?
What? But that's early 20s. That was before I found myself. What are you talking about?
What the you mean by find? I don't know what you mean.
By finding yourself, for knowing who you are, knowing why you do the things you do.
I'm on the phone to you. I'm standing by my dressing table, looking at myself in the mirror. Right. Batman under. How can I find myself? It sounds crazy.
Do you know why you do the things you do? Do you ever do things and go, "Why the fuck did I do that?" and not be able to figure that out?
Yeah.
Then you have not found yourself. Then you have not found yourself. You have to look deep inside, go through your insecurities, go through the things that troubled you when you were a child, and get over those things, and get past those things. Yeah, and you get past those things.
Having kids with a woman that wasn't your mother.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I love my brother Tyrone. He's cool.
Fine with everything, bro. Everything's just cool.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old. I've been through this, dude. Like, what? I've been through all of this, man. I fucking made my way through all the things that troubled me when I was a kid, and I've gotten past all those things. Why haven't you? Why haven't you gotten past the things that trouble you since you were a kid, man?
Look, brother in the cult, no problem. Mum don't like I'm an atheist.
Yeah, my brother was in a cult when I was like 4 years old, dude. I've discussed it with him all before, and I've discussed it.
You don't have to be there to have been affected by it.
I understand.
So you've been affected by him.
Yes, I understand that, but those effects can be understood, and you can get past those effects.
Your son led your half brother to go into a cult. You have the same father.
Yeah, what does that have to do with anything? I didn't go in a cult.
Didn't have things you didn't do, like being born. You weren't involved in that sex, mate, but here you are.
Yeah. But I can understand the concept of how that happened and get over it.
Yet here you are.
Okay.
That knows how to read and write.
Do you not understand the concept of people figuring out why things happen and getting over it and not letting it traumatize you anymore or bother you anymore?
Stand of figuring things out, which is what I'm doing here with you.
Yeah, but why haven't you done that with yourself? You told me right now that you haven't found yourself, that there's things you do and don't understand why you do them. Why not? Why haven't you figured those things? Maybe instead of worrying about other people, you should be worrying about why yourself, like why you do things and not understand it.
Give me one.
Huh?
Give me one.
Give you one what?
What?
What you're not getting over? I don't know you. I don't know. You just told me that. You said I'm staring myself. Look. Let's go back to what you said. You said I'm staring at myself in the mirror. I can see myself. I don't know how to find myself. So then I asked, well, do you have things that you do them and then you say, shit, why did I do that? And you never figure out why you did that? And you said yes. I don't care what that thing was, but to you in your mind, you know what that is. And why didn't you figure that out?
Why do you call that finding you?
That's the term for it. That's maybe that's an American thing. I don't know, but that's the term for it. Sometimes people travel the world to do it to understand and experience more things and understand better.
Sorry, sir. I'm asking you.
Okay.
Why you use the word and you?
That's just the way I know the word from the knowing the phrase. It's how I say. There's multiple phrases I say that I use because it's a local phrase. Yeah. It's colloquial.
Even the dictionary, it's not a holy thing. So tell me you mean many. I don't appreciate being told to go look at the definition of many. Tell me.
You look up the definition of what?
Many.
Many? Like more than one?
if you say there were many people,
right?
And I say what do you mean by many, and you say look it up in the dictionary, that's not going to help me.
Well, I can say more than one. That's probably not going to help you either.
You not give me a perspective of.
Right, but I explained it to you what I mean by it. So who cares where I got it from, why I say it? I'm explaining to you what my context is. Communication is all that matters, right? I'm communicating to you what it is. Finding yourself is understanding your traumas, working your way through the problems you have in your mind and the things that hold you back, and coming to terms with those things. Have you done that?
Why is it? I'm still trying to understand this thing. I'm still trying to understand. Why is it that you call it finding yourself when you're talking trauma? Are these self-inflicted?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're external. Sometimes they're just things you just can't get past for a while until you can, And some people are too lazy. They don't work their way through things. They just leave it there. Or sometimes they don't even realize it's there, right? I mean, we can use other terms if you want. We could use going through your shadow or, like Jungian terms, but I don't really believe in Jungian bullshit. So, but some of it has basis in truth and, yeah, people are held back by their insecurities. It's true.
If your trauma is being caused by somebody else's inactions and lies, how would this be finding yourself?
Because those are issues you're holding on to that you shouldn't be. So to find yourself is working through the issues that you're holding on to, going through your file cabinet and throwing out a couple things, or maybe looking through things and being like, oh, you know what, let's put this in a different file. This one's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's you working through your mind, working through your feelings and stuff like that. It's yours. It's all yours. Whether it comes in from the external or internal, you're the one holding it. You're the one keeping it.
So what if you're the one segmenting the box marked do not open?
What? A black box marked do not open? Is that what you have?
I'm asking you, what if you put it in, what if you have...
Well, if you want to find yourself, you're going to have to open it. You're going to have to say, fuck it, I need to open this.
And what happens to those that don't, or those that say, well...
Then they'll keep being held back. There'll be something holding them down. It might not be a huge problem. It might be a little problem. It might not even be a problem, but there's lots of people out there that are being held back by their insecurities and stuff like that. And, we all know there's people with repressed memories, people with selective memories, and they, like you said, they keep a little black box says do not open. They don't even remember some sort of thing that happened in their life,
Right. When I talk to you about your conversations with your mom, you seem to remember them all as really happy, jolly, easy.
No, not happy or jolly. I remember them as being in the middle. They weren't angry. It wasn't happy. It was just a conversation,
That, sir, is positive framing from your perspective.
Right, it is from my perspective.
Hey, it was just a conversation, and I sat there for 10 minutes. We were having coffee. I was like, hey, Mum, I'm not an atheist. Well, son, I'm really disappointed about that. But hey, you're a free person. He's like, cool. But you had another topic in there. I mean, that's how you framed it. We've no idea as an objective audience. That could be how you remember yourself from the. So how would I know?
But
I've got to believe you because you told me.
but see, this is
What's
yeah.
your belief?
Exactly, and also, but the weird part and why I got so defensive is it's none of your business, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Right.
to the story. You're just looking for things out of context. The story, it was for the context of the entire video. You're just focusing on one part and want to know more about that one part. That knowing more about that doesn't help the context of the whole video.
I know. Unfortunately for you, I'm more interested in people that talk to me than
I
the
understand.
people that talk about.
I understand. That's your interest. I get it. You know, I didn't get it at first, but I get. Look, I didn't get you at first, and when I'm talking now and saying these things, I'm not trying to say that about you now. I get you more now, and I understand. Through text, it's harder to understand. I get you more now, man.
I'm interested in him. You know, I see his perspective on what, but his perspective. You understand?
Yeah. It was a thing of perspective. I saw it as you trying to psychoanalyze me, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy to psycho? You know what I'm saying? I don't know this guy. Who is the fuck is he to do that? You know. Now I get you more. You were curious. You're curious about me. I get you.
You are absolutely correct. So I've apologized for anything.
Right. It's cool.
But yeah.
It's totally cool, man. I apologize for the way I answered you, man. It's cool.
And I will tell you the story if anyone's still about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 42 years old. 18 months ago, my parents, who weren't married when I was born, but were married 3 years after.
Okay.
For the strength of their relationship, they needed to find out once and for all. We had a DNA test out of the blue. About 3 days' notice before it was going to. It turns out he's 0% chance of being my dad. And apparently she told him, and he was okay with being Mr. Cup Dad, Beta, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So all my life, like you were saying, you were surprised you was around people and your parents were still together. I was that guy.
Okay.
I was that arrogant. My parents are still together, and I didn't shove it in people's faces. But they were, oh, well, you're lucky. People used to use it against me. You understand? Because they didn't have it. So obviously, I realized I had something that was worth having, right?
Right.
Because people was, well, you know, I'm going to my dad. I didn't understand what that meant. You know what I mean? My dad sleeps in the bed with my mum every night. So I'm going to my dad's this weekend. I don't understand what that means.
Right.
The child, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So all my life, I've done this through my teens, I haven't gotten married, but I believed this all up to literally the day they told me. I told my mum not to tell me what. She told me she needed a couple of hours on a day for an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Do you want to know what for?" I said, "No, because you know what I'm like, because I can't deal with these things." And again, yes, it does go back to my mommy issue.
Yeah.
And the thing that eternally frustrates me is people can readily identify mommy issues, but they always take it out on the victim and not the perpetrator.
I hear you.
Now, just over 41-year-old man at the time,
Mm-hmm.
days after I got the receipt by email, no communication, he came to my door. I use the word he because I'm still not sure how to. He's my dad. They got married 3 years after I was born. My only sister is definitely his child, born and wed. Right? He came here and tried to explain these things, and I was just looking at him like, why aren't you my mum? Why is she, if she is my mother and my biological mother, why isn't she here right now? Explain. Why are you here as again some proxy beta?
Mm-hmm.
Where was she? Outside in the car. Too fucking. We went down to the McDonald's down the road from my house because they was in the small car coming to obviously quote unquote neutral ground to keep the peace. You know that. To the coffee shop.
Yeah. Someplace in public.
I was causing feeling I want to. Right. We went there, and it basically summed up to the TLDR version.
Mm-hmm.
I was a whore.
Yeah.
So,
but those are things from your past that maybe weighed heavy on you, right?
What do you mean?
Like in your mind, like maybe something you might think might be traumatic in your life, or maybe things that push you to think certain ways and act certain ways that maybe you don't want to, but these things that happened in your life and the way, you know, your past sticks in your mind. And sometimes it helps. This is what I'm talking about, finding yourself and working through insecurities and stuff like that, because what you mentioned it earlier, the way your parents raise you, they stick in you. Sometimes you don't realize they're there. This is where you have to learn. It's not an easy thing to do, but you have to learn how to work through your insecurities, because it's not an easy thing to do, because sometimes you don't even know they're there. But I don't like using the word meditation, because I don't really meditate. I don't do that kind of stuff. But there is a thing of you going through your mind, going through the files, thinking back to when you were a kid, thinking about the things that maybe you didn't realize might have hurt you, but they did. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And work through those kind of things. Like, you just told me this whole story of your past and how you came to be, you know, what you call your mother and this and stuff. Those things affected you, no? As an adult?
No.
No?
Called her
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You cut out again. Hold on. What?
self.
You cut out again. Say it one more time.
What she called her.
Oh, what she called herself. Sorry. But in her calling herself that, then did that not have an effect on you?
Well, this is the issue.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Before any of this was revealed,
Right.
people to me, mommy is.
Shit, you're cutting out again, dude.
Hello?
Yeah. It's like I hear you, but, you know, it cuts out every couple of words, so it gets hard to understand.
I'm not moving.
Yeah. Yeah, the Discord sometimes could be a little fishy like that with connection and shit.
I've been told for many years.
Uh-huh.
Before I had revelation, had mommy. Sounded like nothing more than a slur. As a way to put me down for being ill. You understand?
Okay.
So I am the victim. I'm the one that didn't suffer.
Right.
Now I'm also. So my question through these lives, like, how nobody said it in any productive way to help me to be better. It's always been some sort of dismissal, retort, snap out of it bullshit. Well,
Gotcha.
I can't snap out of it. I can't find the cause of the problem.
Yeah.
And I say to you now, I've said to you, all my life, I felt this problem. But nobody would be honest. Everybody that knew was lying.
Yeah, that
or
sucks.
At least, if they weren't lying, they were repeating a lie they'd been told. So they weren't knowledgeably lying, but they were repeating a lie.
Right. They didn't know they were telling you an untruth. Yeah.
But they were repeating it, right? So now, yeah, when I look about it, when I see certain things online, I'm starting more. I don't want to see it everywhere. It's not about hating women or any of that. The stuff you said sounded eerily similar, and there are things that happen to you, and yet you still have this sort of vibe that she. And like in many ways, I would agree with you, because like I'm saying to you, my mum wasn't abusive.
Okay.
She didn't have men up and down in the house, but at the same time, there were things that she did that I would have known were wrong had I been better knowledge.
Right.
And now that I can look back, obviously older and more knowledgeable and different. It's not like, hey, that's my mum. Like I said, I've never been the kind of you could cuss his mum and I'd want to punch.
Right.
Yeah. Because she has a husband, so that's his problem. You want to insult my dad's wife? That's his problem.
Yeah.
She's not my wife. But when you're a single, and I see these things, especially the black guys I see back across America, they're all, I've got to become the man of the house.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know all about it, dude. I grew up in the ghetto, man. I know.
You're not her husband or boyfriend.
I'm with you on that too. I mean, it depends on the person who's insulting my mom, but most of the times if somebody says something about my mom, I'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to get angry to the point where I'm going to punch them and, attack them. Even with me, I mean, if people insult me, I'm usually pretty chill about it. Like, I'm not like I'm going to get into a fight over it,
So when people said something to me about in it, I think it's one of the comments, another comment on your. And I said, oh yeah, everybody loves your mum. And I said, yeah, she's a whore. And there's lots of things. My dad apparently she told my it might not be, and he signed up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a start. He was my example as a man. What the fuck do you think I learned? Go to work all day and don't complain about nothing. And don't ask any God.
Ha! Well, that's kind of how my dad was, but I didn't learn that from him. But maybe my brother did, but I didn't learn that from him. I didn't take that lesson.
They didn't tell me the question. They didn't teach me the question.
Yeah.
They categorically did not teach me, which is why I question.
But
this is why I question the very fact, and it's not like it's not an obvious thing where I could see it. It's not like she fucked a white ginger guy, so my hair's compared to my sister.
Right.
He's just another black guy. So I look like a black guy. I look very much like his dad. So I don't know if she fucked his dad. I have no idea. You can't tell me who this man is. It's been 40 years since my birth. He might be dead. He's got a couple of vague names, but do I really want to now go and bother some man 40 years later? Excuse me, might you be my dad?
Yeah. Yeah, it's understood.
She's still married to this guy that he's provided her with a wonderful life, all the home she wanted, all the cars, all the holidays. She bitches at him. He just works. He's got nothing. She's never been on welfare. You don't smack her around. You don't cheat on her. He's the unfortunate to me to say it, the cupbearer that she wanted, and she's done very, very well. You'll come out, she'll move into a house, re-landscape the garden, everything. Bitch, she complain. I want a holiday. He'll just do more overtime. I want to foster kids now. Oh, I don't have any babies around the house because my sister's kids, they're kind of growing up. They're reaching their 10s and teens now. They're a bit independent. The oldest one is in secondary. They're more independent now. She ain't got nothing to do all day.
Right.
She's gone and fostered 2 kids. Because my dad, he got 2 this year. He don't want no kids running around the house all day, but that's what she wants. So she gets what she wants because it makes her happy. And he gets the woman that he wants. So my foundation is all fucked up because the start of their relationship is fucked up.
But this is why I'm saying that all of that, is that still weighing heavy on you and that still bothers you? Or do you feel...
I'm in the process of coming through it. So I'm this...
Oh, there you go. See, this is what it is, man. You're in the process of finding yourself right now. You don't understand what it means, but you will when you get through it. Trust me. And you'll feel a lot better about yourself.
Right, no, so that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily disagree with you.
Right. No, I know you weren't disagreeing with me. You were trying to understand what I meant by what I was saying. Yeah, I got you, man.
Like I said, people have said to me, you have mommy issues or you hate women. And I'm like, no, I have questions that nobody wants to answer.
Yeah, I hear you.
God, my parents would send me to my grandparents and church and things to put me in there. I learned my musical skills in the church. I played bass and drums in the choir until they...
Oh, nice.
You've either got to believe in God or not. And I was like, I was going to school, I was smoking, I was getting into trouble. So I was playing all the songs and hearing it, but again, being there and being understood was 2 different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you had a lot of deception in your life, so I'm sure that caused a lot of trust issues with you. It makes it very difficult to trust people.
I wasn't aware of it.
Oh yeah, you weren't aware of it, but I mean after you were aware of it, that's got to cause a lot of issues with trust, no?
No, I was this is what I'm saying to you about things that you didn't make. I was unknowingly aware of it because as I looked, as it came to the revelation.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Asked all these questions over, like you were saying about the atheist.
Yeah.
Asked all these. Why is my dad got his dad's middle name and my sister has his middle name, but I don't have his middle name? If I was born son, how the fuck would he not name me after him? But he's named his daughter after. I'd go. Okay, this is the crazy one. I told them, they laughed. They swear it's accidental. My sister's name is Joanna Ronell. Yeah. Gordon Hill as my surname. So whenever I see her initials, I see JR. What is JR short for, sir?
Junior.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you understand? But
yeah, I got you, man.
I don't know why my brain works, but I've thought that since I was about 6 or 7, bro.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Sometimes children absorb things more. When you're developing, you absorb things, and you don't even realize you are absorbing these things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand that. I got you with that.
I'm just saying to you. Don't be. I understand you had a good life and you ain't a criminal or anything, but don't be too high. I'm just wary of those too high. No, I had a great life. Well, they got divorced because those things affected the relationship. Your dad having that other kid, was it an affair? Was it before? Did he leave her for them? Does your mum think he might leave you? These things have affected their relationship. You grew up in the house arguing and they finally separated. You had to deal with leaving them in different. They may not have the worst negative effect on you or the worst case scenario, but they have effect.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but it's mostly because you're missing the piece where I've already worked through all that already. You know what I'm saying? Like all the issues I had that came from my mom or came from my dad or came from my brothers or came from just general people I knew. I've worked through all that stuff already. Like I'm already past that. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know that, so I understand why you were questioning, because that wasn't part of the story, so you're out of context with that. Yeah.
Right, fair enough. Then I apologize. I was saying, if you, from my perspective, when like I said, from you, when my mum said to me I was a whore, I was like, yeah. She looked me in the face, like you're responding now, blood.
Yeah.
She was like, excuse me? I said, no. You're absolutely right. And that's what I was saying to you. If you dealt with it, that's fine. But again, don't want to, let's fixate off your life. But in that perspective, in the general realm of things, in the generality, if she comes to you and says, I'm a whore, and you're like, no, mum, you're an angel sent by God. She's like,
yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure I just stopped some guys taking the toilet. Right.
No, I hear you. It makes sense. But I think in my context, it was a bit different, because I feel like, you know, like you said, feelings ain't it. But in that situation, in my mind, I think she had an incorrect thought because of the indoctrination she'd been through. She had an incorrect thought. I wasn't telling her her feelings were wrong. I was telling her that she's feeling that way through an incorrect conclusion. That was what I was explaining to her.
Because I could say, oh no, mum. Because again, I could have gone, oh no, mum, you were young and naive, and those.
Yeah. You could have.
They promised you the world.
But what if? Let's put it this way. What if your mom was? What if you're
always there for me? You've done a brilliant job. I could have done that.
But what if?
Easily.
Yeah, you could have. But let's say this is where the
conversation, and we would all felt better and gone on, like you said. That's why.
Yeah.
Connection because of the personal relationship.
Right.
Not that you did it, but I could.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear what you're saying, but the situation's kind of different. It would be more like if your mom was raised in a sexually suppressive way, and she comes to you and says, I'm a whore, and you're like, oh, why would you say that? And she's like, oh, because I kissed this guy on the cheek. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be like, that's not being a whore, really. Like, you'd have to explain, wait, you're feeling like a whore for something that's incorrect,
How would I judge? She was raised in a sexually whatever repressive.
Well, that's right. But you would have to know those things. I know how my mom was brought up. My mom, like I told you, me and my mom had a very open relationship, and she told me how she grew up. Right. I've been to her home village in Peru. I know my aunts and uncles and who she grew up with.
Yeah, I've known them too. But unfortunately, she comes from I don't know even how to say it. Like not broken home, but like a birth tree. Both of her parents have multiple other kids on the other side. So she's got half brothers and sisters from two different dads on the mum's side, and half brothers from two other women on there. So her family's all her mum and dad, and then it's all sprouts off. So even her upbringing is different. My dad from his marriage background, that he was more like everything that I heard about, because obviously I did hear tales of was narrating why are there a few photos of me with him, especially in my early stages. That and the thing is, he has a twin brother, and so that I've always been able to recognize them as well. But I looked at old pictures, I said that's not my dad, that's my uncle. Why are there pictures of me with my uncle but not my? You understand?
Right. I know that. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I used to have a girlfriend a long time ago who was adopted, but she didn't know. Obviously, she didn't know for a long time, and then she ends up finding out her parents are her grandparents. You know what I'm saying? And that her sister is actually her mom. And that led. She didn't find that out till she was an adult, and it led to many after already finding that out as an adult. It led to many insecurities and stuff, and she's just out of nowhere developed abandonment issues and stuff like that.
Oh, because it's all inside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all the stuff that you have in. And whenever you talk, you're ushed down. No. You're overthinking it. You're thinking too much. Here, have a lollipop. Here, have a Nintendo 64. Blah blah blah. Here we go into the movie. Something else to distract you. You go, okay, fine, I'll leave it. Another opportunity arises. You bring it up. Oh my God, you're such an inquisitive. Oh, I love the way they flatter you with compliments. Oh, you're so smart. Must hold you. interesting questions, and then whoa, I'm getting all these compliments. And
No, yeah, but that's the short of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go into. This is why the whole misconception here happened, because that's like the short of it. I'm just saying that as a quick synopsis so that you guys understand the context of the entire video. You know what I'm saying? And how I, grew up as becoming an atheist as I was growing up. But you're looking, that's what happened. You ended up looking deeper into it and wanting to know more and more specifics and stuff like that, when it didn't have to do fully with the thing. But I don't mind now. I understand you more now, so I get it.
I appreciate it.
That, but I'm gonna. It's
YouTube comment section.
Yeah, it is. Text is always more difficult. It's always more difficult without tone, so when you get text, there's no tone and...
Idiot, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a coon.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Touch of a bar top. None of that has actually dealt with the things that I said.
No, well, right off the bat, in text, you came off to me like a psychopath. Like, that's what you seemed like to me. Now, talking to you and hearing your voice and your tone, I understand that's not the case. You know what I'm saying?
I've never met a psychopath, so I try not to go there. I just
I've met some fucking lunatics, man, let me tell you. But I gotta get going. Maybe we could talk again sometime and figure something out, but I gotta get going for now.
I'd be happy to. Like, next time would be more organized.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it was. Yeah, no problem, man.
I did really appreciate the whole blocking thing, because I'm only trying to have a diet. That's all I want to do. We're not going to get anywhere by talking.
Yeah, of course.
You're an idiot. Shut up. Okay. You changed my mind, man. Well, God exists, and if you don't believe it, you're a moron. Oh well, shit.
Yeah, obviously. No. But there are times where, well, I gotta go, so we're not gonna get into that now. Maybe that's something to discuss next time.
You let me know. You've got me on DM or see me.
Yeah.
Give notice. Time, whatever. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
All right, man. Yeah, it's nice talking to you, man. Take care. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. I am going to end this now. If I could just find the page that I was on. But thanks for listening. Yeah, that guy. I guess I thought different about that guy. I thought he was crazy, but he's reasonable. I mean, you just got to talk to people sometimes. But you know me, I always end up talking to people, and I always start strong and then start, breaking it down and being like, all right, maybe, let's talk. But you know me also, I'm always open to talk to people. So, but yeah, if you look through the comments, he came off as a weirdo. But I think it's like a thing of, this happens a lot with people where they think they're having a conversation with you that they're not really fully having a conversation with you about. Like, they think they're having that conversation, but it's not actually happening. So, I think that's, like, if I look at it, that's kind of how it comes out. Like, he's having a conversation with me that I don't know we're having. Like, there's out of context stuff. When he explained it in voice, I understood it better. You know what I'm saying? I understood what he was doing better. In text, I couldn't understand what he was doing because there was no context there. He was saying, no, I'm questioning this and blah, blah, blah. But it seemed to me like he's telling, but that's the problem with text. But anyways, I gotta go, but maybe I'll talk to him again sometime and we can get into the deeper issues there with that. But I'll talk to you guys later. You guys who want to talk to me and contact me, you know how to do it. But thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.